Oh shit, that's not the one I meant to click on.
Whose hats are these?
Not your hats! Not
Do
your
all of us have
hats.
the Limburger hat?
No.
We had a plethora of Limburgers.
Didn't have no.
Who's the Limburgist?
Who's the
Great
Limbourgie so that we can burn them?
Ooh. Is this like a Limcracy?
I don't know what to say to any of you people right now. Ah, that's not where I want to be.
It's more of a Limtocracy.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I keep on hitting the wrong thing, that's why. I mean... Wait, so who's king? Who's the
Lim
king
Band.
cheese?
It's, Mr. Lim.
Danny Lim?
Yeah.
Who's Danny
Welcome
Lim?
to-
Why do I know
well-
that name?
Well, welcome to the stream, everyone. I'm your host, MCCanary, and we're going straight into Chapter 6 B-Side. Everybody introduce yourselves!
Hi, I'm Jackson, he, him, and I'm part of the Limburger Collective, and we would like to talk about your car insurance warranty.
Hi, I'm Sean, he, him, also known as the Talking Skull, and I am Limburger Collective number 3.
Is Isaac number 2, or is it like...
Yeah, I assumed Isaac was number 2.
Okay.
I was also trying to make a really strange Over the Garden Wall reference, but...
Oh, yeah, I was...
I thought you were
Yes.
for a second. I was like, where's the final committee?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I was kind of catching on to that. That was good.
Also, for anyone who wanted to know the things that infest my brain, I remembered who Danny Lim is. He's an Overwatch League person,
Oh,
like a interview host guy.
gotcha.
Which
Dang.
that's officially dead now. I don't know if y'all heard that news. It's
Oh
not really
my
news
God.
these days, but
You know what? I feel like sports, no matter what happens, live for as long as possible, and that was maybe the closest that we've got to a video game sport, and then it completely just destroyed itself, like
I mean, we have
like an
plenty of video
Ouroboros.
game sports.
yeah.
Dota is probably the big Dota and LoL and CS:GO. We have plenty of esports.
So wait, Overwatch League just died? Like, just...
It's officially dead, yeah. I mean, it's been dying a slow death for almost as long as it's existed, so it's a little shocking that it took this long. But
Gotcha.
What are the Shanghai Dragons gonna do now?
probably gonna play Valorant or something.
Probably.
Are people still playing Valorant?
I believe so. It's,
Yeah, I think...
you
I
gotta-
think some people...
I gotta give Riot credit. I might not necessarily like their games or the people who play their games, but they make successful games.
No, they sure do.
I might not like the communities or the people that associate with those games, but they do make good media of some kind. They gave us Arcade. Wouldn't exist without them, I guess, technically.
Given that they literally made it, yeah, probably wouldn't have.
Oh, I have an anecdote, everyone. I have a soggy cat.
Doggy cat.
I was taking a bath today, and I've just kind of got, I don't know, man, I don't have personal boundaries, really, and he was just, like, curious, and was like, you're gonna fall in, and sure enough, like, I don't know how he did this, but he somehow got stuck, like, between the faucet, like I did that, the shower faucet and my legs, and I was like, what are you doing? Where are you going? And then he just, half of his body fell in, and I have to say, a wet cat looks pretty fucking funny. Especially him, because he's a lot more hair than I thought he was, and I already knew he was pretty fucking fluffy. He looked like a drenched mop. It was very silly. He looked very upset, and I was just like, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what you were doing. I don't know what you expected.
Yeah, I don't know what you thought was gonna happen here, but this was the only possible outcome.
Uh-huh.
Jackson and I have a fun story about his cat in a bathtub.
Uh-oh? Did you have a soggy cat too?
I think so.
Not quite a soggy cat, but a soggy adjacent cat. We were just like hanging out in his living room, and we heard this unbelievable clatter, and we were both just like, what just happened? Is your cat okay? And he just like came shambling out from the hallway, just like his paws wet and just like looking miserable, and we were like, you slipped and fell in the tub, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
why was your tub full of water when nobody was using the tub, though?
It wasn't full of water, it was just like a little bit of standing water that hadn't drained because somebody had gotten out of the shower just a minute ago.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense, because it's like, but still, that doesn't explain why there was any water in your tub if nobody was in the tub recently.
Yeah, that was when you visited in this year, 2023, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
I don't think you had a cat before the previous time I would have been there.
No, I didn't. No, yeah, those are new this year. This year, well, I want to say the boy was late last year. I basically adopted a wife, and then she adopted a cat, or adopted a fiance, and then she adopted a cat.
And then she adopted a son.
Yeah.
Well. This is really fucking tough. I was not expecting this to be this hard. I knew it was gonna be hard, but not this hard.
If it makes you feel better, Isaac, you know how I usually zoom through these levels?
Yeah?
I am actually really struggling right alongside you right now because I'm trying to, get some practice and see how I can do. Whoa, I'm only one screen ahead of you. One single screen.
Yeah, these are really tight. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
You're in the ain't fucking around stages at this point.
Honestly, though, yeah.
The end game.
Sick Marvel ref, my dog.
That's just a word. It doesn't have to be a Marvel ref.
Marvel ref, my dude.
If anything, Marvel's referencing video games.
That's true. I do
video
love the idea,
games,
like,
my Garth.
Sick video games indeed.
I do love the idea of like, it's like we're in the end game, sponsored by Marvel.
Oh.
Boy, you gotta be real quick on that, huh? Boy, they don't give you any time, huh? Also, this music is fucking wild.
Music is very good. Also, once again, Isaac, if it gives you any reassurance, that screen that you're currently on was one of the harder screens. Like I've since been able to go like 5 or 6 screens since then.
So this one's not that bad actually.
Well, this one that he just went into is actually pretty bad. The one after that.
No, it's not that bad. No, it's not that bad.
After this one.
How long will it be before I have to let you live that down?
Wait, me or him?
I think.
Wait, what did I do?
Oh, it is all about you this time. What happened? I forget.
What did I do?
Oh my god. I can't have any recurring bits with you fools.
Oh, explain yourself. I can't remember now. I'm gonna. No.
I'm not gonna go out of my way to roast you about a thing you've already moved on from.
I'm getting healthy. What do you want from me? No, it's fine. I just won't bully you about this thing that you embarrassed yourself about. Now I don't know what now I'm paranoid that I should know what I embarrassed myself about.
It's fine, it's fine.
You know,
You got worried.
I had there, and for some reason I didn't think I had the boost. I don't know why. I don't know
Gotta
why.
commit.
Gotta commit. Gotta make.
Gotta commit.
Gotta commit crimes.
Gotta commit crimes.
Woo.
Well. Well, poop. Also, if we do want to talk about something, Jackson and I... Why did I do that? Jackson and I may have actually found the first and maybe only truly good Zoids media, like in an actual like quality perspective. We might have actually found it. I do want to know what more of what we found was, Jackson, because it was good.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We found back in like 2020. So in the past 3 years, there is Zoids Media where they made what's up?
So who knew?
Right?
Uh-huh.
Because they had a long hiatus. They had a hiatus of about 15 years, and then they made in 2019.
Well,
they made a series. Yeah, it was a full series, so it was about 14 years, I think. And it was from watching episode 1, parts of episode 1. It seems okay.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like trying to follow up Yu-Gi-Oh with Yu-Gi-Oh GX. It seems okay.
Okay.
But-
What happened after that was they made a very short, small series. There was a spin-off of that.
That has like 3-minute episodes? It was
Yeah,
really
it's like-
weird.
Yeah, it was like 3-minute 45-second episodes. And there's only 6 of them. And the really, really, really cool thing is that there's... So, Zoids... I feel like I have to paint the wider picture. Zoids has this problem where it is 2D animation, but the machines, the Zoids themselves, these big, giant robots that are shaped like tigers and elephants and stuff like that, are all CGI.
Yeah,
Right.
Iron Giant style.
Yeah, exactly. And so their budget's split. And so what ends up happening a lot with these older series or with these longer running series is they have to do a lot of reused footage or get a lot of mileage out of like certain like CGI interactions or something like that.
Right.
And so
just-
even go for it.
Well, all I was gonna say is just generally speaking, the quality is all over the place, but its biggest issue is that its action sequences are kind of anti-action sequences. They do a lot of implied action.
Yes.
Gets- It's like novel. It's like, haha, we get, yeah, this is pretty standard. But there's a part of me that's like, you know what would be really sick? If all these actually really good designs were used in some actual well-choreographed action sequences. And I was just curious.
Yeah,
I was
go
like,
for
is there anything newer? Because like, Zoids has apparently been like around for a while, so it's like maybe they've improved. And we were kind of looking around, and then we found that, and just the whole thing, the whole 3 minutes was a well choreographed giant mech fight with giant robot dinosaurs and shit. It was great.
Incredibly. Yeah, like if we have time after stream or something like that, like it's really worth showing you this 4-minute video, Sean, because like even if you couldn't give 2 dog poopies about Zoids, it was just a really well executed fight. Like it was.
Yeah.
So so like it goes to show what we all know, which is the like when you have a very small amount of animation you have to do, like a very like concise product to make, you can make it pretty stinking good. Because I recognize that when you're making like a 26 episode season and you have the budget of a hamster, that you have to reuse a lot of footage and assets, and you have to make your Zoid pretend like it's shooting in a direction, and then the other Zoid that got hit just falls over and screams out, and you have to pretend that it was hit.
Or you for whatever reason, and I shit you not, full 3 to 5 second stills where people just stare in dead space. and sometimes it's trying to be a gag.
Yeah, sometimes it was trying to be a gag, yeah.
Look, Evangelion did it, and it has to be a good idea.
That's kind of Zoids in a nutshell. Zoids is, we saw mecha anime, and our only original idea is the mechas are animals. And you know what? I kind of wished it was a lot better, because the actual animals are cool.
Well, then you gotta play Horizon.
Oh, that's true. That's like fighting Zoids. I've never thought about that. Yeah, I would probably fucking love that game. Well. I do want to play Horizon Zero Dawn. It seems right up my alley.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a little bit of Monster Hunter. It's a little bit of Zoids.
That was the one that got away from me.
Yeah?
I think I own it in my library. It's so far, like I'm so committed to many other things that I want to play that Horizon's also on the list, but it's just I feel like I'm never gonna get to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've definitely got one or two of those where it's like, if I ever ran out of other stuff to play, I would like to see what this deal is with this. Like Firewatch is one of those for me.
Yeah.
It's not a long game. I could knock it out in a probably single day off, if I had to guess. But I'm probably never going to.
Yeah. Yep. Hard to agree on that one.
Yeah, no. I mean, God, I want to play Zero Dawn. I want to play fucking... God, I feel like I have a whole groceries list of, like, old and modern games that I'm like, when am I ever gonna have time to actually play this shit? And the answer's probably never, aside from this.
Right, yeah, because the big stuff we really want to play right now are like remasters and remakes of old games, or even just literally playing PS1 classics. Like I was excited I'm excited for a Parasite Eve run. I'm glad that we finished Dino Crisis the other night. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
Dino Crisis 2 is a very fun game. It's a very silly game, and
It's really not
like,
that long either.
It's weird because for a game that's about dinosaurs, it does what I like to call the alien trope. You know what I mean by the alien trope, Sean?
No.
So, the first game is a pretty honest, like, attempt at a horror game, even if it's still Resident Evil cheese. Like, it's a pretty honest attempt at that. But then the sequel's just like, just make it an action survival game. Just make it a horde shooter.
That's like a really common thing in games, because like, it's hard to make a sequel to a horror game.
Yup.
And particularly a lot of like action-oriented horror games like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, it's very easy to just push things over the top and be like, alright, it's just action now.
Yeah, no. And it's still really fun for being an action game. It's just, imagine trying to play classic Resident Evil as an action game. That's what Dino Crisis is. I still think, I have a theory that the reason why it even is half as actiony as it is because the first game is a pretty decent horror experience, but it has a major flaw in that anytime you try to actually kill a dinosaur, they just respawn for some reason. What is why can I not jump off that wall? I keep on trying to attach myself to that wall and I don't attach to it.
Show me.
Wow, he isn't even watching. There we go. What the hell? Hey, I did it.
That's the classic tech support thing of like, I've tried this 3 times and it's not working. Okay, show me. Well, it worked this time.
Well, fuck you then. Thanks for your help, Jackson.
Yeah, anytime. If you need hours are
you need
9.
To look at the screen, then just say the word.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're off on weekends, and today's Veterans Day, so we're I'm doing this pro bono.
Yeah, that's true.
Pro bono? That's a word that I never understood. I don't know what it means.
I think it just basically means like like for no, doing it for free without payment of any kind. Because like it also gets used similarly with like quid pro quo, which I know is translated basically to this for that. Like you scratch my back, I scratch your back. You give me this, I'll give you that. Or you do this, I'll do that.
The quid pro quo is a very apt comparison because it is also Latin, I believe.
Yeah.
But I have a theory that the reason why is you couldn't, anytime you killed a dinosaur, they would just come back. So you're actually, and because it's a survival horror game, you know, after a while you're like, well, I guess I can't kill these guys, it'll just waste my ammunition. So they were just like, well, people felt really discouraged from killing the dinosaurs, and they were upset about that they couldn't kill that they were discouraged from killing the dinosaurs. Maybe we just make a game where they do nothing but kill dinosaurs. You know what? Fair enough. And I enjoyed it.
I really want to murder these dinos.
I mean, they're the perfect video game and movie monster. It's a crime that they aren't more things, in my opinion.
I do love the, like, trying to take it exactly face value. I do love the phrase, people were really discouraged from killing the monsters. Like, they killed them and they're like, oh man, that's sad.
Oh hey, I think I got to the first checkpoint? Was that the first checkpoint?
Let me find out, actually. You might have gotten to the second? You might have gotten to the first.
That's wild, because I'm already at the whatever recontextualized Dark Madeline fight would be.
That was the first checkpoint, actually.
Oh my god. Well,
Jackson. Wow, this is a long level. There are 2 more checkpoints after that.
Yes. Can you let me in, Jackson? I forgot to join you.
Oh, yes, I can do that.
Thanks, bud.
You got the Limburger, doggy. Good luck.
All right. Thank you. I'm gonna need it. I was already taking like 11 minutes to get anywhere.
Yeah, no. It's a fucking hard one, man.
It's a hard one. Let me turn this up for the people at home.
This is how you know he's not confident. He didn't even restart the level to clear those 3 seconds.
Oh yeah. It's true.
He didn't even care. Dude, you're gonna get a gold time, I believe, man.
I probably, honestly, like, because I'm not that. I think my best time for this level is close to like an hour.
Oh my god. I mean, there's a lot of tight corridors.
Yeah, like even this room right now is giving me a heck of a time, and we're only like 3 rooms in.
Would you
Strap
consider
in,
this,
ladies and gentlemen? It's going to be a long one.
Would you consider this stage speedrun killer maybe? Because it does seem to be really hard.
This one's definitely one of the harder ones. It feels like over like from chapter A, B, and C. This one feels quite like definitely on the harder side.
There's also a lot of stuff that's not quite as like precisely controllable, like the feather and these circular bumpers that require potentially a little bit more precision.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because I would say these days the speedrun killer is probably chapter 9, but outside of chapter 9, I would say this is probably one of the hardest. I feel like this is even harder than 7B. And
really?
Then the C-sides are... Personally, I think so. I want to say I have a shorter time on 7B than I do on 6B. Jesus. Oh gosh. I'm also really bad at the feather, though.
That's fair. I actually really like the feather. It feels very satisfying, and it's the kind of precision that I actually find myself being somewhat proficient at. I'm good at that very exact joystick maneuvering.
Yeah, I use D-pad a lot for Celeste, and the struggle is that I sometimes switch to joystick just for
That makes sense.
Just for the feather.
Because yeah, what I noticed is what I could like pick up on there is that the D-pad probably is a little bit too stiff for that, right? You need a little bit more angled precision.
Yeah.
Angular precision.
Almost
actually-
though.
That was also a really good skip too, yeah. I do actually kind of like these bumpers too. They take some getting used to, but they're not as wild as you would think.
Yeah, once you really get used to them, they're reasonable.
They're just like an 8-directional D-pad. Kinda.
Yeah.
Sort of.
There we go.
They're also very satisfying to hit once you get.
Oh no! Oh, I had it lined up and everything, and then I just.
That was so
All right,
close.
this is the one where I get it.
Ooh, nope.
Oh no, it was not. Okay.
Fuck.
I adjusted something that I shouldn't have adjusted.
It was
Not to-
working, but you fixed it.
Yeah.
Not to distract you, Jackson, but do you remember the name of the Zoids thing? It was like something.
Zoid's
something.
Wild Zinky.
Wild Zinky.
Yeah, it's not a great name. Is it Zinky? I thought it started with an S.
Isn't it?
An X can be
Sink,
pronounced like a Z in the beginning of a word.
Sinky,
Sure.
Sinkai.
Zinkai.
It might be
that
Sinkai,
probably
actually.
sounds a lot better than Zinky.
Yeah, it sounds like Jinkies or something. Zinkies. Yeah, Zinkai is.
I'm glad you were just as upset as I was, Sean, for hearing that was what the name of it was, because it's like, the name didn't sound that bad. It sounded cooler than that.
Bad news. It is spelled with an S, not an X, and it is probably Senkai,
Senkai, that makes more sense, yes.
but it is
like a
miniseries. Enki, so it is misspelled if that's what it's trying to do.
Oh yeah, I knew it was spelled. I knew it was spelled with an S. I wasn't just.
I knew
just
it was spelled
saying-
wrong.
I was just saying stuff poorly.
It reminded me of a fucking. I haven't seen anything by them in a while, but Arthur introduced me to them, and they're just these two guys that would do some really stupid shorts. And the one that you made me think of was they were like doing one of those weird, like, you know, Instagram, TikTok story challenges where they're like, we gotta, we're gonna be showed a word, and we gotta guess what it is. And it says Da Vinci, and they look at it, and they both go, Da Vinci?
Jeez.
It's pretty good.
Bad news, ladies and germs. It is in fact pronounced Senki.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. I mean, maybe it makes more sense in Japanese. I don't know. Doesn't sound like a good name to me, but we're English.
Apparently it means battle flag.
Like in Japanese, or just in general?
In Japanese.
Guys, you need a more intimidating word for battle flag. If I heard out of nowhere that they were waving their Sinky at me, I'd be like,
I'd be like, gross, put that away.
yeah. This is a battleground. What is wrong with you?
Okay, it took me 6 minutes, but I'm here.
Hey man, that's pretty fucking fast to me. I'm just saying.
Woo! I could really clean up that one room. Thank you, though.
Oops.
Welcome, Kirby.
Hey, Kirby.
You should do my Senki, battle me. Pokemon trainer.
We're gonna have people complain about Sinky pics.
I mean, that's the weird thing about at least Zoid's New Century is Zoid's New Century is trying to be Pokemon, the mecha, and it knows that Gundam and Ava exist.
Despite the fact that Digimon also.
Yes. Which actually I would kind of want to go back and rewatch or watch any Digimon. Because actually here it's pretty good. I did not know that. I never watched much of it, so.
Yeah, it's also very campy. I've watched some of the original. It is fun, but it is.
Unfortunately, I hear the dub is not very good, but the sub is good, from what I hear.
The dub's probably not very good. I remember, like, this tells you how 90s it is, where, like, one of the first couple episodes, it talks about, like, one of the main characters just like, it's like, oh yeah, that's my sister Sarah. She doesn't like to ride bikes with us, you know, because she's a girl. And it's like, what?
I don't know, that sounds funny as fuck to me.
It's very funny, but it's like, it's just so, it's so 90s. Like, it was just like, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty par for the course for 90s boy
Very
cartoon.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. Where's the mummy dust, Jackson? Jackson, where's the mummy dust? Sean, I know he knows where it is.
All my mummy dusts.
Fuck.
Now.
I've learned how to do that, and yet every single time I've done it, it's been exactly too far for me to do. I've learned that piece of tech, and it's helped me 0 times.
Wait, which one?
This one. Oh, shit. This one.
Oh, yes.
What's funny is that the one you're doing isn't even really helping, aside from the fact that it works out conveniently spacing-wise.
Uh-huh. Hey, that's why I'm doing it. Oh my god. But yeah, I do find the original Zoid series at least fascinating because I do find quote-unquote bad media or mediocre media fascinating to study based on what it decides to pull from other pieces of media that succeeded. That's my biggest takeaway.
You can't really pull from things that succeeded.
You know, I was thinking in the quality sense of like succeeded in the sense that they were better quality products.
Succeeded. I thought you meant succeed. I thought you said succeed it.
Oh yeah, no, I said it bad, and I also kind of did imply still that would have been what I meant. Whoops, because it's not what I meant at all.
But yeah, I can totally agree with that.
And yeah,
yeah, go for it.
I was gonna say, like I said, I knew Asuka before I knew Asuka, and she sucks. She doesn't suck, she's just bad Asuka. She's another example of bad Asuka in something.
One of the many.
One of the many. Hey, I'll give him credit, I was like, wow, they made bad Asuka, except she's just bad at everything. And no, she has like some pretty unintentionally subtle, I'm gonna call it, character development, where she becomes a better pilot. I'll give him that. She gets better. I'm like, oh, okay. No, she's improving. I thought she was just gonna be bad. She got better.
She got better.
If her skill as a pilot is the only aspect of her character writing that improved, then I don't think that's actually an improvement.
Oh, well, fair enough. Because yes, you're not wrong, Sean. That's about all that's improved so far.
I mean, I will grant you that writing Asuka, but without her skill as a pilot, is sort of missing the point of Asuka as a character.
Yep,
But also, improving her skill as a pilot gradually over the course of the show doesn't exactly fix that.
Right.
Yeah.
That was like my immediate, like, kind of critique too, is like everyone who tries to make an Asuka is like, oh, Asuka's just not as good as Shinji, and it's like, no, she's good at things, she just has esteem issues, guys. It's like the major, well, not the one of the major things.
Well, that's her whole thing, right? She's all ego. Like
exactly.
She's cocky because she is like the best of the best, but she can't do everything, and she's jealous of Shinji for doing things that she couldn't do on her own.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean she's not more skilled than him, because she is. Just that they're different people and do different things. And she can't handle that.
Right. Yeah. But no, Sean, Shinji's just a better pilot than her, so she's bad. That means she's bad. so every piece of media, man, it does suck, because I still think there are some things that I do enjoy, but they do just have a bad Oscar in them for no reason. Dragon Pilots has the same thing. I'm like, why are you here? Why are you written like this? What is your purpose? You're just a dick.
I guess that it's just a trope, a personality type that Japan just really seems to enjoy.
Now,
Well, it's a thing that happens a lot. Yeah, you're in a real pickle. It's a thing that happens a lot, and it happens a lot with Ava specifically, which is Ava was so influential, but it had a lot of things that are like questionable that it manages to pull off because it handles them with nuance. And that a lot of things that were inspired by Evangelion steal and don't have any of the nuance, so they just suck.
Right.
Like the boob grabbing scene, or Asuka as a character, or Rei as a character, or frankly Shinji as a character.
Thank you for that. Or Misato as a character when she's fused with Spike. I'll admit that I do like Revi, but it does feel like somebody who liked Spike and Misato at the same time.
Misato's at least easier to carry off because she doesn't have any really like wildly caricaturish character traits. Like,
right.
She's sort of a normal person, all things told.
All things considered.
She's definitely got her share of stuff going on, but if you just make a character who's superficially similar to Misato, then it's like probably gonna be fine.
Right. Ah, no! Wait a second. What are you doing with the Limburger hat? No wonder I'm having such a bad time. Jackson, give me that back.
Oh, sorry. I've been holding on to it. I've been keeping it warm.
Jackson's just been holding it with both hands, pulling it down on his head.
Eat that.
It gives me the
strength.
emotional support that I need.
So speaking of things that are, on the one hand, not derivative at all, but on the other hand, extremely derivative.
Oh.
I've been playing Neon White this week.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
I've heard about that game, and I've heard mixed things from best game, worst narrative.
That's correct. That's exactly it. It's seriously one of the most creative and well put together games I've ever played. Like, it is so fun, and they do a fantastic job with the level design of like subtly teaching you how to engage with the game without having to overly tutorialize it. It's just super fun to play. Like, it's fantastic. But yeah, the narrative is, I would describe it as aggressively bad. Like, it's almost to the point where I'm almost convinced myself that they made it bad on purpose to get you to skip it as a speedrunner would. Like, that's how bad it is that I'm almost convinced that it's intentionally as bad as it could possibly be.
It's actually video game genius.
I don't think it is, but it's close. Like, if it was one notch worse than it is, then I would say that it has to be intentional.
Like it feels like it was recorded in a tin can or something.
No, actually the main character is budget Spike Spiegel for the voice actor, and honestly, if I didn't just assume that there's no way this game could get that man, I might have thought it was him. It's like a pretty good impression. No, the main character's voice acting is quite good. The rest of the cast is largely horrible to listen to. But I don't think I blame... my first reaction was, wow, the voice acting is bad, but I don't think I blame the voice actors, because it's just the way the characters are written. Like,
right.
I hate the affectations that these voice actors are giving these characters. But they do, I can't deny that they match the way the characters are written, so it's clearly the way that they are meant to be portrayed. It's not bad voice acting exactly, it's just extremely grating voice acting done in service of characters who are written in extremely grating ways.
Right. Yeah, no. Anything I've heard about Neon White's story is it's a really bad anime fan fiction, and it maybe is not. It's too self-serious.
It's an unbelievably bad anime fanfic. It does take itself seriously. Man, it's weird. Fanfic is exactly the right word for it, because, like, it's weird, right? Like, the rest of the game is so competently made, like, the gameplay is super tight, the art and animation are fantastic, there's, like, great graphic design in it, like, the character portraits all look really good, and then it's like the writing was handled by somebody's nephew. Like, it's so weird, the difference in quality. It's jarring.
Mm-hmm. God,
but yeah, fanfic is exactly the right word for it. It feels like fanfic, because it's one of those where it's like, every scene is about some kind of innuendo or, like, you know, embarrassed stabs at romance, and every character is doing some over-the-top characterization that doesn't make any sense and doesn't work or mean anything, and every line is as unbearably annoying as it could possibly be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that is the impression I get. It's weird. I think part of that is also you're up, Jackson.
Feel free to keep going, unless you want to take a break.
I mean, you want to keep going? I could keep going. I just got to Dark Madeline is all. I could take the Limburger hat back. I could take it back. I could take it back.
Yeah, because I think at some point, I think towards the end, I'd like to do a full run of this level, but I know that if I keep on doing it like I've been doing it with the whole, like, segments thing, I'm not doing this very quickly this time around.
That's fair. I mean, I just got to Dark Madeline, so you're not far ahead of me in that sense then, so...
Yeah, because I'm, in practicing, I'm still in the Dark Madeline fight, I think.
But yeah... What's... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yes, I am still in the Dark Madeline. I've just been, like... I can't remember if I'm still at the same checkpoint.
Oh, I see. I was like, I do not know if you're fighting Dark Madeline.
How do you not know? It's usually pretty obvious.
Yes, I am, but I can't remember if I'm, like, in the same checkpoint still.
Yeah. But yeah, so Neon White's story, yes, what you've heard is exactly correct. It is truly baffling how bad the narrative is in that game. However, as long as you skip all of the narrative, that game is incredible. I'm blown away by how good that game is. I highly recommend it. It does a really good job of setting up its challenges, sort of similar to Celeste, I suppose, in that, like, yes, you have to execute on relatively difficult stuff. Talking about Celeste A-side, it's not this nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you have
not
to
this
execute
bullshit.
pretty difficult stuff, but largely the challenge is in routing and pathing and, like, figuring out your way through a level. Like, I figured out pretty quickly that you can often get the, like, highest rank in a level, but if you're struggling to get it, like, if you have to be really precise with your movements in order to hit that highest rank, it means you're running the wrong route, and there's a different route you could be running that would be able to easily hit time. You never have to do, like, if you're running the right route in that game, you never have to run it perfectly to get the top rank. So it's all about the, like, mental game of, okay, like, can I skip this? Where can I fit in an extra jump here? Can I save this ability to use it there and skip across that? Like, all of that kind of puzzle box thing that...
Right.
that works so well, and it does a really good job of it. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, no, essentially that's what I know about it. Is it's totally worth playing. I just know, don't get invested from the standpoint of like, you know.
I mean, you're never gonna get invested in the narrative. You're gonna see the opening and be like, oh, that's kind of neat, and then you're gonna see exactly one scene after the opening and say, oh no, it's terrible, huh? And then if you're smart, you'll skip everything after that. I was telling Ren the other day, because I was talking about it with them, I think that my closest point of comparison for the story would be Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh my god.
I'm telling you, man, it's rough.
Some people like that show. That means they love that anime.
Lots of things, Isaac.
Some people like Black Lagoon. Hey man, I still maintain, Jax and I have watched it, I still maintain that if it is close to mediocre, I still liked what it does for its uniqueness. It's not the best thing ever, but I still like it.
I still like Black
Lagoon. I
Lagoon.
don't remember what Black Lagoon is.
That's
Did
the
I
one.
have a hot take about it?
That's the one that I mentioned. Actually, I think you pointed out that you thought Revy was just kind of like a Misato knockoff. Fair enough.
The concept of Black Lagoon, because I forgot that we even showed it to you, Sean, was just that a Japanese businessman gets captured by modern-day pirates and decides to quit his job and join the pirates.
Oh yeah, I do remember this being kind of bad.
Hey, I enjoyed it.
I really enjoyed it.
Not like bad, just like...
Right.
Yeah, I remember it being underwhelming.
Yeah, that's fair. And like I say about Black Lagoon, I don't think it's gonna blow any of our friends' minds, but I do think that when it does actually do something impressive, I'm like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to do something impressive.
Yeah, I remember, in my mind, I remember it's a fairly quality show. Like, I didn't seem underwhelming or mediocre or egregious in any way. It seemed quality.
I kind of get what Sean means, because it could kind of go both ways. I feel like the show definitely does pull from inspirations a little bit more directly than I would hope, I guess, because I don't know, it might have just been early enough in how many ever shows or whatever that I had seen, but like kind of pointing out that things like Revy were just kind of like an edgier version of Misato and stuff. I was like, or how Arthur kind of likes to harp on how the end of the show it tries to mimic Cowboy Bebop a lot too, and I'm just like, yeah, I get it, but it at least does its own thing at times that I like. I don't know. That's a weird thing that I've kind of noticed recently, is how do you feel about where is that line kind of drawn where it's like, if something reminds you of something else, when is it bad, would you say, Sean?
So this is the thing I think about a lot, because I am the biggest hypocrite when it comes to this. For exactly this reason, and I'll tell you the specific example, which is that I love Hollow Knight, which is very derivative, but I hate Ori and the Will of the Wisps for being derivative of Hollow Knight. So I think about this a lot, because it's I get in my head about it where I'm like, is it okay that I like Hollow Knight and don't like Will of the Wisps? Like, is my brain broken?
I think what it usually comes down to is execution and how much of those original ideas are actually original, is
Yes,
where I
so
kind of sit.
There's two big things for me, which is how well is it merging disparate ideas from disparate sources? So this is a big thing Hollow Knight does a lot. Like, yes, a lot of stuff in Hollow Knight is derivative, but it's pulling stuff from so many different sources and blending them so well that it becomes original in that synthesis, right? Like,
Right.
You've got Super Metroid with the moment-to-moment gameplay of Shovel Knight, but also the platforming of Super Meat Boy and the narrative stylings of Dark Souls. Like, put that all together, and yes, none of those are original concepts, but nothing else on the market has all of that and fuses all of that together as well as Hollow Knight does.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is obviously how much of it is original and like how much is taken from any single source, which is my big thing with Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Every single thing in Ori of the Will of the Wisps is either from Ori and the Blind Forest, i.e. not new at all, or just completely cribbed from Hollow Knight.
Right.
And the only thing that I thought was an exception for that, it turns out, was itself stolen from a different indie game that was like out from a less well-known studio.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, so you just cribbed this studio's entire game to make one of the zones in your your game? And it's like, that could be fine, I guess, but like, my opinion of you was already not super high.
Right. It just comes off as how much of it feels like the creators know what they're doing with it, right? Like, are they just doing it because they saw somebody else do it, or are they doing it because they know how to utilize it to whatever makes their piece unique or their piece,
exactly. Like, if you're using it in service of a unique experience, then it's fine. If you're using it in service of doing it because it was good in this other thing, then it's like, you're not bringing anything to the table.
That's why I will at least admit, because also I had a very similar experience again with this, where Sean Jackson, I've talked about this last time. Have you seen what the kids are craving these days?
You see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Have you seen funny?
Do they crave violence?
Well, yeah, they do that too. Have you seen Zoomers? They absolutely crave violence.
It is true,
yes.
They do.
But no, there was an indie animation that came out by a YouTube studio guy named Glitch called The Amazing Digital Circus, and I've seen it, and James had saw it, and then I watched it with Arthur and Lauren that evening, and I like wasn't like in love with it, but I at least found it interesting and like enjoyable for like what it was. And one of the things that I was like, if this is like, you know, another indie animator who's maybe been doing work at least for a while, it's by somebody named Glitch, and I've heard of another one of their works and heard that it was pretty it was all right. But I was at least like, you know what, this looks pretty good. I actually kind of enjoy some of the characters, except for one who I really don't like. But you know what, I didn't hate all the characters. And I watched it with Arthur and Lauren. They had very much kind of similar responses of like, man, they just kind of took characters from so many different things that I had never even heard of. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. And I'm like mixed on that now. I'm like, but I did like the characters that were there. Like, if they just did good characters because somebody else had done them, I don't know. So,
right, if they took Cuphead, it's like, yeah, Cuphead's really cool, but you know, Cuphead's already in Cuphead.
Yeah. Right. So I don't know how to feel about especially a situation like that, because I'm like,
well, and it's tough too, right? Like, everything is derivative of something in some sense. That's just sort of the way art works. So, like, there's very much a sense when it comes to fandom where it's like, at some point you have an entry into any given piece of culture, and you're naturally going to be biased toward whatever link in that chain you first engaged with.
Right. Even
if you later learn that it was done somewhere else first, the one you saw first is still the one that introduced you to it and the one that sticks with you.
So, and even in this case, it was even a matter of straight up, I had even maybe engaged with it. Oh my god, I finally did it! Fucking Christ, this room! I even knew like one of the references, but I didn't realize it was a reference, and it was just kind of like a, I don't know if it was their takeaway or what, but I was just like, oh, because they seemed very much like, yeah, that's just that character again, and it's like, I don't know how I feel about that too, as like a takeaway of just being like, it's just that character again. It's not new, and it's like, I mean, I get that, but I thought he was at least funny. So, I don't know.
Well, also, as an aside, oh, sorry, continue.
All I was gonna say, it's a character from a Zelda game, and like when you look at him and they make that comparison, I'm like, oh yeah, that's just him. And I hadn't played very much of A Link Between Worlds, but I do remember him being a bit of a scoundrel asshole with a purple rabbit hat, and this character is just a purple rabbit who's kind of a scoundrel asshole. So I'm like, okay, I just I didn't even think about that. I haven't played that game in forever.
Pretty good game.
I know. I've been meaning to ever play.
Yeah. I was gonna say, as a good. This is the room you're in is probably, in my opinion, the hardest room of the entirety of this level.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bastard.
It's pretty bad. So if you need any guidance on anything, let me know, cause boy shucks howdy. Woof. I remember my first playthrough taking a very long time to conquer that specific room.
Right.
Uh-oh, Isaac, you've riled up Kirby.
Oh no. I didn't. Naruto did. I mean, I kind of see. I don't know. I'm like, that's where I'm like, I also am. I wasn't even like, I think this is great. I at least wasn't lackadaisy about it, and I do still really like lackadaisy, but I know I'm probably the one who liked it the most, which is fine.
Lackadaisy.
So,
I enjoyed lackadaisy for both the fact that it was pretty good, and also because I knew I knew one of the major characters in that. Like, I knew the guy in real life.
Well, that's cool. I didn't know that. One of the voice actors?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, no, I liked lackadaisy quite a bit, but I felt most other people were very mint about it, which is fine. I know why you guys were very mint about it, but I wasn't even really in love with this one. I just was. I find it curious because it falls somewhere in a space that it is at least better than has been. And anybody who likes Has-Been out there, I'm sorry. Has-Been, I don't get the impression is very good.
Now, I'm missing the comparison here. Why does it matter that it's better than Has-Been?
Oh, because it's another indie animation. Because the indie YouTube animation sphere is in a weird space right now. It actually feels like we both do and don't have very many star YouTube animators. Like, it feels like feast or famine sometimes.
Yeah, well, I mean, YouTube animation died almost entirely for a really long time. Yeah, and Patreon is what has brought them back.
Right.
It's like the only way that they're able to survive on the platform is through outside funding or through just like really efficient processes. You know, if you're talking about somebody like Jaden Animation or somebody, she's got a whole pipeline, I'm sure.
I actually never heard of them, but yeah.
Really? Wow.
She's like
I'm not educated, man.
She's like an animated vlogger.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to shame her. I just been like, I'm surprised.
She's real big on the platform, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she's pretty big on the platform.
You probably like her. I've only seen a couple of her videos, but she's charming. And her animation is cute.
Yeah.
She does Pokemon Nuzlocke challenges. Those are like the most well-known videos, I think.
Kirby gets recommended her. How do I not get recommended her? I feel like I still get recommended a decent amount of YouTube animators.
Oh man.
If you're looking specifically for animators on the platform, she's like one of the biggest examples.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, no, I'll definitely check her out.
So,
yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
You ready for this?
What?
So remember how I'm always chasing those gold times, right? I'm always trying to get the new golden time, right?
Uh-huh.
I got a golden time today while practicing.
Huh?
36 minutes, dude.
Ooh, dude, you might be able to break that again tonight. No less.
Probably, hopefully. 36-minute gold time.
But yeah.
Oh, goodness.
All that to say, Digital Circus is by Glitch, and from what I get the impression, it's better than their latest work, and they otherwise are just they've got a very strong following. So it's like, I don't know, I still felt obligated to be like, well, I have a loose cut interest in animation as both a hobby and as a critic and buff. So I don't know. It is weird. We all do generally, I think, have a combination of different tolerances and, well, of course, interests. So it's just weird. I always find it weird what we end up like hyper fixating on or being more critical about. I do find it very fascinating what we all end up like, because even I'm like, I'm not gonna say we should stop watching Zoids, Jackson, but I'm more taking it as a what is all the things that Zoids is doing wrong?
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, there's... It is not a great show. It is a fun show. It is.
Yeah, I mean, if
fun
you're
show.
enjoying it, then there's no shame in just like watching something that's fun. And if it's doing a lot of stuff that's bad or wrong, then there's even value in like identifying that and like thinking it through it.
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're looking for.
What I'm looking for is a dissection of how someone could make an amazing toy line and then not know how to do, and a very iconic, you know, show series for children, and in reality, not know how to do any writing or animation at all. Astounding. Listen, those toys sold, I can tell. I had 3 of them.
But that's the thing, right? Like, if the designs are like eye-catching enough, then all the show really needs to do is be as cheap as possible and show off the designs. And
Boy,
they'll
is
sell
it
the
cheap.
toys.
That show has no budget.
Yeah, really
There's
does not.
certainly room for stuff like Pokemon, where it's like, this all
Right.
exists to sell toys, but like each thing is still generally a pretty high quality piece of media on its own.
Right.
Like, you know, Pokemon is a whole media empire, and not everything
Right.
can be Pokemon.
Not everything can have Papa Nintendo.
Papa Nintendo.
Oh, Papa Nintendo.
I mean, I don't think Pokemon needs fucking Papa Nintendo's help, frankly.
Not anymore,
Pokemon,
yeah.
Not ever, like... all the way back in Red Blue, they were fucking huge.
Right.
Yeah.
They needed some help to, like, get across the finish line at the very beginning, when they were like, we don't know how to program, help.
Now, Kirby, that's a fair point. Papa Nintendo
This
has...
is why I specifically said, generally speaking, each Pokemon thing is relatively high quality. There's obviously been some notable exceptions.
Also, if our discussion has been about anything tonight, high quality in one way does not always mean good in others.
Sure. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to come up with a way that Violet was high quality from what I saw of it. God, that was... I could not believe that I was watching a Switch game fucking dither. I did not know that dithering was a thing that people were even fucking doing anymore.
Wait, what's dithering?
You know how PS1 games look all wibbly?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dithering.
It's is it a strategy to try to even save on, like, performance? Or is it just a byproduct of something?
It's... I mean, I don't think it's the same effect in Pokemon Violet as what you would get in a PS1 game, exactly. Because in
Right.
PS1, it was because of the way that lines are rendered.
Right.
Like, the PS1 rendered lines in a way that was like... It was basically broken anti-aliasing.
Pretty
It was like,
much.
we're doing anti-aliasing, but we can't do it very good, so everything just wibbles. If I understand correctly. In Violet, though, it's more of a optimization thing where they're using some kind of technique, and it's been long enough since I've looked at it that I can't remember exactly what it was doing, but some kind of technique to like lower the resolution in the background or something that was causing it to not update the frame at a consistent rate. So stuff like bookshelves and staircases that are like really high density of straight lines were visibly wobbling in the background in a way that made me actually nauseous.
No, that's
that's
so bad.
bad.
That's kind of funny, unfortunately, but that is very bad.
The other unbelievable performance thing with that game, and I know I've talked about this before, is you know that thing some games do where the animation of characters that are far in the distance will be played at a lower frame rate because you're not going to be looking at it.
Yes, or you shouldn't be.
Right. Pokemon Violet does that with characters who are just directly in front of you on screen.
Oh no!
There was a
that's
scene
bad.
that completely blew my mind where you're just like sitting in a classroom. It's an interior shot of a classroom where there's just like 20 NPCs sitting in a classroom, and half of the characters, half of the students were doing that like limited animation frame rate, just completely visible on screen and intermixed with characters at fully animated frame rates. It was mind-boggling to me.
You know what they say, Sean? The Game Freak, they just know how to push the hardware, man. They just know how to.
They know how to push. They know how to push deadlines.
Yeah, no kidding. Kirby, I normally don't care about performance, but this was like really hard to look at these issues. Like, I don't mind frame rate drops, and I have come to accept the occasional stuttering and that kind of thing, but like, holy shit. Looking at Pokemon Violet made me physically ill.
That's also its own thing, that it's like, I think I'm at a point where, because I, just have a computer that is good enough for now, that I would be like, well, if it starts going into poopy mode like I did for so long, I'll just upgrade now. Whatever it costs, I'll fucking do it. Because now I'm like, oh yeah, I don't have to live like that if I don't want to. But on the flip side, I'm
Thank
like...
goodness for financial stability.
Right, well, for the most part.
You know, relatively speaking, compared to 10 years ago.
But on the flip side, it's like, man, how many... That wasn't even the norm at one point. Like, I would say the norm was, yeah, anybody who played Halo on their computer didn't have like a $3,000 computer to be able to run it silky smooth. Most people played it at 15 to 20 frames. That was a normal frame rate.
Yeah, the whole, like, 60 frames a second is such a weird, like, arbitrary thing where it's like, there was a point in time where 60 frames a second was the standard just because that's the rate at which consoles, like, talking about, like, the SNES, I think? Or maybe the NES, I can't remember which one. Like, it wasn't, like, a visual quality thing, like, that was just the rate at which those consoles pushed frames.
Right.
Yeah. And, like, I'm sure it was a little bit of, like, latency management and that kind of thing, but that, like, dropped as we got, like, 3D consoles and fancy graphics.
Right.
But, like, people have sort of started turning the other direction and these days, probably partially as a result of games, like, not being able to show off visual fidelity as well anymore. Like, the difference in console. Everybody whines about how small the difference in visual fidelity between console generations is, and then turns around and looks at games from one generation ago and is like, wow, this looks so old, because people are fucking idiots.
Yup.
Yeah.
I think that whole thing of, like, the difference being slightly, like, less noticeable from generation to generation has pushed a trend in people being more concerned about performance and being like, hey, you know, if this isn't going to completely blow my whole gob visually, then why should it not at least run at a stable 60?
And you know what? Yeah. That's pretty fucking fair. I at least understand that now, right? And I think that's like, like a tug of war almost between hardware and software or software presentation for as far as like tech goes. So it's like now we're back to the beginning point and we're like, well, we all are back to our visuals not like being so, our visuals have like homogenized in such a way that you're right, like if you're going to have less visuals, why, if you're not going to stress my system with better visuals, what the fuck is stressing my system? You know?
Yeah, well, and that's sort of the damning thing, right? Is like, it is stressing your system with better visuals, or just less optimized games that are faster to produce. But, like, it's all trade-offs, and on the consumer end, we just hit a period where it's like, outside of the occasional like exception of a game that's just like, wow, this really does look that good, like the vast majority of games don't look so much better than the competition or than previous generations that you couldn't argue for like tweaking settings down and just running at better frame rates. And like I said, I'm not a purist on this one way or another, but it is sort of an interesting cultural phenomenon.
Right. Especially with
I'm
games...
somebody who used the same gaming laptop for like 5 years or something.
Yeah, how old is Ray?
Oh, Ray's been dead for ages.
What a sentence to take out of fucking context.
Yeah, that thing, I got it when I was 17. And
yeah, I remember that.
Don't think I had a real replacement for it until I was 23. So like 5 or 6 years I was using that thing, and it was a good gaming laptop when it was new. But you know, there's definitely a point where a 4 or 5 year old gaming laptop that's, you know, been lugged around and beat up for 5 years of like walking to classes and shit, is not exactly cutting it anymore. So
right, it's not really working for it anymore.
Absolute dirt poor end of performance. I played Dark Souls 1 at 20 frames per second.
Yup.
Yeah.
That's why when you were like, why do people keep on talking about, wow, I can't even play Dark Souls on console anymore, the frame rate's too bad. You and me are like, what are you talking about? It's still 20 to 30 at best anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's when I played Dark Souls as well, is on my fucking ancient graphics card computer that ran Overwatch at 20 or 30 frames at the lowest settings.
Yeah. I mean, that used to be my bar. I was like, if it can hit 20 consistently, I'm happy.
Yeah, me too.
That was my bar. It was only when I got to like Blight Town and I was like, this is unmanageable because it couldn't consistently hit 20.
Right. I'm so close, guys. I got all the pieces. I got all the pieces. This room is really hard.
Very,
I think
very.
BioShock Infinite was one of the games for me that I was like, this just won't run. I can't do it.
I think I remember that, yeah.
What would you say is the first game that made you go, I can't go back after like 60 frames?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I still... I'll put it this way. I don't have any clue what frame rate games I play run at. Like, I just don't check that. I don't remember the last time I noticed a game running at a... No, that's not true. I did play Elden Ring. Not with a bad frame rate. The frame rate was fine. But I had some truly bizarre stuttering issues with Elden Ring that, were completely unplayable. But that was on my old rig, and no problems on the new one.
I know you had some issues when we tried it on the Steam Deck as well.
The Steam Deck?
Yeah, it ran decent on the Steam Deck, actually.
I didn't know you had a Steam
ran
Deck.
Okay. That's like exactly at that line where it's like, this is playable. It's not ideal. I'm noticing the problems, but it's playable.
It's playable, yeah.
I didn't even know you had a Steam Deck.
Yep.
What cannot physically happen to you, Kirby?
What?
The,
Not playing a game at 30 frames? Listen, man, we grew up in a time where, you know, the visual technology was advancing so quickly. If it was on screen, you had your mind blown by Shadow of the Colossus at its glorious 20 to 25 frames per second.
Yeah, man. Just boundary pushing. I mean, being unable to go back not physically happened to Kirby. I see.
Lucky.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow of the Colossus was like... That's one of those games where the HD remaster didn't have to change anything because they just built the game with assets at high enough resolutions that we just weren't even seeing them properly in the original format. Like, that game was truly wild.
yeah, they built the PS3 game back when they only had the PS2.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, it was at the end of the PS2's life, wasn't it?
it was. I mean,
So,
it was 2005, so, like, it's not like it was a 2006 game, but yeah, it was on the tail end there.
so yeah. It was
I
cutting
didn't-
edge, and cutting edge meant that the hardware wanted to die.
Is cutting the edge of the hardware.
Uh-huh.
I did have an experience with, it wasn't necessarily, well, frame rate was the result, but it wasn't. So I played the demo for Silent Hope, which was like a little fun, like, kind of roguelite, not even roguelite, it's just a little fun, like, dungeon diving RPG game that Savannah showed me. Just delightful. I didn't get the game, I didn't get the full version because it was like I honestly got a full enough experience off the demo. I was like, yeah, I'm satisfied.
Yeah, that is
Listen.
the risk with demos, famously.
Especially you, Jackson. You don't need to tell everybody how many hours you've put into the front mission demo, and I know you like that game.
Or the Final Fantasy XIV demo,
Yeah,
which is
Is he-
technically what he plays.
yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's over 2,000 hours at this point in the Final Fantasy XIV demo.
I still can't get over if you ever actually get front mission, you have broken the game through the demo, because the demo apparently you could go back and you could, no! God damn!
Sorry, dude.
You said that the demo actually saves your save file and you can pick up the rest of your game, and you have broken the game because you've done nothing but play the demo.
Yeah, it carries over your save, so, yeah, I'd be interested to do that for a stream, because I feel like it'd be funny. I think it would be hee-hee.
So by broken it, you just mean that you've, like, played the intro missions so much that your level is ridiculous, or what?
Basically, yeah. I mean, and plus I found, like, the way the formula works in that game, it doesn't tell you, and I wish it did, but weapons, it's not, the phrase I was going to use was not linear, but, so, your bonus is additive to every shot. So say that you have a gun that does 10 damage, and there's one shot, and then you have a gun that does 2 damage, but there's 5 shots. That would be the same, right? Because that's 5 shots, 2 damage.
But if
10
you do
damage.
plus 1 damage, then it's 15 damage for the second gun instead of 11.
Exactly. Yes, that's precisely it. So I discovered that
Parasite Eve logic.
Yup. So I discovered that, and so I just found that putting the most amount of shots on them, and then, like, there were a couple skills you can unlock to just get more shots. So you would just try to stack all this stuff. So, and then your bonuses can get up to, like, it's a weird number, but you cap out at like plus 48. So here it was at the beginning of the game, doing like 5 shots at like 50 damage or something like that. Well, 5 shots, but actually more like 9 shots from all the extra skills onto it. And the mechs I was fighting had like...
So mean. It's so mean.
And yeah, every mech I was fighting had like 30 HP for each of their parts.
Effectively, he has maxed out every single pilot as well.
No, actually, I just mainly just maxed out one, dude. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Nice.
Finally, escape. I could die in another screen now. Fuck. But yeah, no. You essentially have an end game character after the first mission in the game because you're a maniac.
It was fun. It was actually really fun. Like just messing around with that game was very fun. There was only one story mission they gave you, but like just messing around with the arena mode and everything, very like had a great time.
It also is just it is in a lot of ways like, and I say this as both like out of admiration and because it's so silly. It's very much like the thing that you've done the most that way.
Yeah. There's a delay.
It's your curse, man.
It's my modus operandi.
And hey, man, own that shit. I think it's fucking bonkers. I think you should send that to the developers so that way they can be like, he did what?
Yeah.
He did what to our game? Oh my god.
They'll send you a gift basket.
Exactly.
The thing that surprises me...
We'll send you a keychain. What's that?
Yeah. What's cease and desist? What surprises me is that is for the Final Fantasy 14 thing. I'm just gonna keep. Feel free, unless you need a break. If you need a break, let me know.
Here, you take the Limburger. I do need
Okay.
to break that. That was a genuine scream because I thought it was gonna die.
Give me like another 45 seconds because I'm about to beat the level.
Oh my god, Sean.
Actually, I just beat it. I
You
beat it 21:19.
Jackson,
I shaved 15 minutes off of
I
that.
can't believe this guy. I can't believe
I'm sorry. I was at the finish line. I didn't want to quit out because I was at the finish line.
Would you fault this man his 15-minute PB?
Yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Listen, I
Let's
think you
see.
could get sub 10 today, man.
What?
Oh, I could try.
What the?
That
What?
was.
You've gone
That
from
was-
30 to 15. You've cut it in half twice.
I know I've cut
effectively.
it from 36 to 21. But yeah, I've cut it 15 minutes. Yeah. Let's see. Which one are we? Are we at this
That's
one?
the one that I did last, so yes.
Oh right, yeah.
Wow, you're so tired of this stage that you're not even doing it from the beginning anymore.
I can do it from the beginning. Sure.
No, go.
It's just
do what you feel, bro.
I just
Your
feel
body.
like because I'm still taking runs that are doing like 20 minutes that like I only want to do I don't want to take up too much stream time like doing extra runs. Like cuz when I was doing it for other levels, you know, I was able to do those levels in like 8 minutes or something like that, like but like the whole level, so it wasn't that bad. But now it's like really a challenge.
Yeah, no, this stage is fucking hard, man.
Yeah,
That room alone was like the nastiest platform challenge I've had in this whole game. Holy shit.
Agreed, yeah.
That's like maybe
And-
one of the hardest platforming challenges I've done in a video game. Maybe.
Yeah. It's really, it was, I think I spent like an hour or two like on that room. Like I was just sort of hard stuck for a while.
Oh, hey, speaking of people who become pirates after seemingly normal, boring job lives, Sean did show me Our Flag Means
Yeah.
Death, and it is quite good. I'm enjoying
Wait,
it quite a bit.
Showed you what?
Our Flag Means Death.
Oh, yeah.
Sean, you pitch it because I don't know the historical significance well enough, and I feel like you do a better job at it because you're the one who explained it to me, and I had never heard of it before.
Sure. I'm a pirate nerd, so... So our flag means death is a heavily...
That was one try for that room.
Smooth. Very
As
smooth.
hell. Yeah.
Oh my god. I've never first tried that room. Sorry, go for it.
Our Flag Means Death is a heavily editorialized, heavily fictionalized version of the story of a real human man named Stede Bonnet.
I can't get over that his name is fucking Steed. Who names their kid Steed?
Steed, and it's not like S-T-E-E-D like a horse. It's S-T-E-D-E, like Steve spelled wrong.
Yeah. It sounds like a frat boy name. That would be the name of somebody in a frat. Would be Steed.
It's a truly terrible name. Viewers may be familiar with Stede Bonnet if you've played Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Oh, he's in that? I did not know
like
that.
A bit role that doesn't really communicate a whole lot about him.
Oh, sure.
But there's just like a whiny bitch motherfucker in the first chapter who gets mad at you for saving him wrong or something. I don't remember exactly. But anyway, that's supposed to be Stede Bonnet. But the real Stede Bonnet is he was a, like, wealthy sort of landowner merchant person.
Right,
who,
a nobleman.
Yeah, some kind of wealthy class person who, at some point in his life, had a midlife crisis to end all midlife crises, and decided, fuck it, I'm gonna go become a pirate.
Yup. At the height of piracy.
My land of wealth and luxury and my family and everyone I love or care about, and go do piracy on the high seas. He had never been a sailor. He had no experience with piracy, with sailing, with leading men. He had absolutely no expertise that granted him any skills whatsoever with which to do this thing. But he had the money, so he commissioned a ship, and he bought a crew, and he did it.
Uh-huh.
And
Wait, was he?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just he was rather successful.
No.
No. No.
He was terrible. He was an awful pirate. He was known as the Gentleman Pirate, and he sucked shit and his crew hated him.
Uh-huh.
And then the weirdest possible twist in our story happened. His story ran aground with the most famous pirate of all time, Blackbeard.
Yup.
And Blackbeard met him and immediately recognized that he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So Blackbeard convinced him to join his fleet. And of course for Steve, it's like, oh my god, I had a midnight crisis. A midnight crisis? I had a midlife crisis. I had a midlife crisis and decided to become a pirate, and now I'm friends with Blackbeard? Fuck yes.
Uh-huh.
But of course Blackbeard was just like using him and was like, congratulations, now that's my ship, and you're technically here still.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember, I should have looked it up, I can't remember what happened to Stede Bonnet after
You want
that.
to wild wiki it?
Yeah, I'll wild wiki Stede Bonnet.
Because, yeah, no, I just, like, the show is great. No, the show is great, and I think it still is even getting into, like, that stuff, though it has some interesting things to say about Stede as a person that's more complex than just that he's kind of pathetic. But, like, I'm just now obsessed with the idea that somebody really thought it would be a good idea to just be like, you know what, I hate something about my life so much, I'm going to try to do maybe the most dangerous thing I possibly can, and not have any idea what they're doing to do that. And then ended up meeting maybe the most famous version of that thing and being like, wow, I made it, guys. That's something I aspire to, my guys.
Like trying to run your city government and then meeting the president, like.
And then the president being like, man, he's really bad at being mayor.
He's like, really, really bad at this.
This is already a really tight challenge. Oh, fuck.
I believe you are on the final stretch, though.
His shit is so long.
I would imagine he's...
I would love to Wild Wiki this, but it is going to take me a long time to read this whole thing. So maybe I'll put this in my back pocket and recount the rest of this story later.
I was gonna
Suffice to say, he did... after sailing with Blackbeard for a while, his crew did mutiny and just joined Blackbeard outright, and Bonnet was just like a guest on Blackbeard's ship after that. Before he apparently confided in some of the crew that he was ready to give up piracy. He and Blackbeard then got pardons, after which Bonnet immediately turned around and got a letter of marque to go privateering. Because he's an idiot.
How did that man survive? That man survived? Question mark? Maybe he is. Maybe I'm just so obsessed with him because somebody who could so bullheadedly do so many stupid things did at least leave a mark on history, and I can respect that. Oh god, that's stressful. So yeah, but this flag means, our flag means death is, has been a very delightful, interpretation of that story, and Steed is great, and Steed, who's plays Steed? He's definitely familiar, I should know who he is. I feel dumb that I don't know who plays Steed, because he does a great job. And I definitely recognize him.
I don't think I know who he is. Reese Darby, what are you known for?
I mean,
he is in What We Do in the Shadows, which I have forgotten. I haven't seen the film of that in a while. I should rewatch it sometime. Yeah, no, I don't know this fool.
Oh, well, never mind. Maybe I was just...
I mean, he's active. It's not like he doesn't do stuff. He does a lot of stuff. I just don't know. Like, he's in the Jumanji remake, and he's in a series of unfortunate events, and...
Which I should ever check
the Wilder
out.
People. Like, this is all stuff. Like, he's active. It's just nothing I've seen.
I should actually check out the series of unfortunate events, I believe, Netflix show. I heard it was pretty good, and I remembered liking those books when I was a kid.
I loved those books. They were real good.
I loved the second one, but I am biased.
The series has Jim Carrey as what's his head, the bad guy. Or no, it's not Jim Carrey. It's
I was gonna say that might have been the movie actually. I remember
Neil
the
Patrick
movie.
Harris.
Oh, that's awesome actually.
As
Yeah,
Oolong.
That's his name. The Bastard Man? Because he is a bastard,
Big Bastard Man.
The Big Bastard Man is a big bastard
What good
man.
kids books, man. Those are phenomenal books for kids.
Yeah. Agreed. Also kind of, honestly, like, ballsy for kids' books. They're ostensibly about shitty things that happen to kids.
I mean, I'm biased because I was sort of not quite anarchistic, but I had a real strong distaste for authority.
I mean,
So-
sure.
and that's sort of what those books are all about. But like,
Right.
they're all about kids being independent and
Right.
figuring things out, and the grown-ups don't always know what all they're doing.
The grown-ups don't always know what they're doing.
To do your own thing and figure stuff out.
Right. Sometimes, or even a lot of times, the adults are kind of just assholes.
Mm-hmm.
There's maybe one caretaker in that series that was trying to be good for them. That was the
Yeah, I
second
remember
book,
them
I
having
believe.
like an aunt or something who was generally, or like a nurse or somebody, or their uncle. Yeah, they had
No,
like
they're-
an inept. Well, Olaf was their uncle. They had
Right.
some like male adult figure who was like nice enough but kind of incompetent, like a bumbling guy.
I think that was the second book, because I always liked it, because of course it was all about a guy who was obsessed with blizzards. And yeah, he was like the only adult parent who was like nice or good, but was not a good parent, because he didn't know how to take care of children.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was like the fun uncle, who also had an entire, house filled with venomous animals, which is probably not what you want around children.
I wonder.
So-
I should really reread those books sometime. I really enjoyed them as a kid.
Yeah, I remember liking them quite a bit. I got pretty far in them. I want to say like 5 books in, 5 or 6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think I
guess-
quite finished them, but I read a lot of them.
Yeah, I stalled out around. I think I stalled it around there as well, which is unfortunate because they did have a very definitive end.
No, it's
Yeah.
misfortunate.
Oh yeah. But I think the thing that I struggled with was that it was sort of a theme, I want to say it was a theme of the book to be repetitive, but it was also a struggle that I had with the fact that like the plot of each book was pretty similar to the previous book. Like it was like I would say 1 through 3 were quite unique, and then like books like 4 through until I stopped were basically the same story over and over until they finally concluded the series.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's sort of like once they're firmly like in the routine of like, all right, we're just sort of dodging Olaf until the end of time. Like, what else is
Right.
there to do with the story?
Right, exactly.
Whereas the first couple have to like set everything up and establish all of that.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because you were literally just playing the waiting game of waiting for them to become 18 so they could inherit their fortune, and Olaf couldn't get it anymore.
And Olaf could finally fuck off. Or honestly be arrested, which he should be. But hey, that is also kind of the point. Well, no, actually, I'm pretty sure he has a warrant for his arrest. He's just a bastard man.
Yeah, I think he did.
Bro was an
He's
asshole.
a master of disguise.
He really was. He was friends with the man with the hook hand. I remember that. I don't remember his deal, but he was friends with him, I think. Or was he just somebody who hated children? He could have just been a guy who hated children.
Just a general dickhead.
Yeah. Just a guy with a hook hand who hated children. Those exist, probably.
I'm sure there's one of them.
I mean, there's famously at least one of them.
Wait,
At
Oh,
least
yeah.
his whole thing is having a hook hand and hating children.
That's true. I meant like non-fictional characters.
wait, there's a
see.
non-fictional character who has a hook hand and hated children?
I'm sure at some point in reality, I'm sure there was one of them. Like, law of large numbers, there had to have been. Like, somebody had a hook hand, and they just also just happened to not really like kids. I can't show my work on this one. Just got a feeling.
I mean, I'm with you. Law of large numbers go hard. Although, I don't know how many people in history had hook hands. That seems like an entirely fictional thing.
That's a good point. It might that might be law of small numbers. There might not be that many people, if any, with hook hands.
You should Google to see if there's any, like, Google Wikipedia to see if there's any, like...
Hook hands real.
Right, were there any actual pirates or famous men with a fucking hook... Or women with a hook hand?
Oh look, pirates.
Is there a list of pirates who had hook hands? Is that
Not exactly.
How do I get on that list? Well, actually, I think I know how to get on that list. It's a pretty comprehensive list to actually get on when I think about it.
Yeah, really, if you're committed. This is just talking about artificial limbs in general. This is such a fucking clickbait article. Well, no, okay, to be fair, the title of the article is just how prosthetic limbs work. So Google is actually the clickbait here for sending this to me, because it does not at all answer my question. Pirates with prosthetic hook, lore, or truth. Oh no, this is a question.
Are you on Reddit now?
No, I'm
Reddit
on
won't know.
Stackexchange.com.
Wait.
What?
Wait, what? Yeah,
Fucking
what's
wild,
Stack
man.
Exchange?
Skeptics.stackexchange.com.
Oh yeah, I have actually been on Skeptics.stack.
Real
Panic
place.
hand arms race. This Google search has given me some really wild results. Hook, hand tool. No, not that.
That sounds like a D&D book. Or ruling.
I'm gonna go with no.
It's just such a weird
results I'm getting
thing.
for this Google search are so bad that I'm gonna assume the answer is no. Hook hand origin, which has to be the name of the video game, right?
Right.
Oh, here we go. History of medicine replacing a severed hand with a hook. This is Quora. Come on, man. That's not a hook hand.
People not know what a hook hand is?
Well, god damn it. This question is... replacing a severed hand with a hook. Was it ever done, or is it just a pirate movies thing? And the top answer is this huge, detailed answer that starts off, the hook hand is very real, in spite of Hollywood's much recognized talents and exaggeration. And it goes on and on and on, and I'm like scrolling down, and it's got photos of like historical documents that show prosthetic hands that aren't fucking hooks. And I'm like, this is not a hook hand.
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is a hook hand. Is this real?
Is it real?
It's shown here grabbing an umbrella. Lighter prostheses were easy to use. Designs became minimalistic. Many amputees designed their own prosthesis after the Civil War. D.W. Dorrance patented a split hook design. D.W. Dorrance split hook.
Now that sounds like a hook that goes left and right. Like it's a hook in the shape of a hand.
Use
Kind of.
of prosthetic prehensors. Now that's an academic paper.
Uh-huh. It's got MLA references on it, Sean.
It,
I feel like it has to.
I mean, it is literally it is an actual academic thing. It's one of those things where it like looks like it's gonna be a whole huge thing, but the actual article is like probably less than 1,000 words, and most of the length of it is references.
Uh-huh.
Statistics show very high use of hooks and very low use of passive hands in the US.
Mainly United States, people had hooks for hands.
Seemingly. Scholars theories that in the USA, function in getting the job done is emphasized. Wow, that's a fucking hell of a theory, my guy.
Uh-huh.
The population is not terribly bound to culture and customs.
Okay.
I mean, I guess maybe in the context of like 1800s.
Right.
It feels like a very like a self-ingrained like. It's like, oh man, here in America, we're all about getting stuff done.
That's why I got a hook for both hands.
Fancy European sensibilities. If it works, it works.
Listen, a fake hand ain't gonna do the job. You can't grab things with a fake hand, but a hook, that'll get it done if you know what I mean.
That hook's gonna help my bootstraps up and give me some fish.
I love the idea that the utility of a hook is more important than the aesthetic of a hand.
Also, another gold time. 15 minutes.
I'm telling you, you're getting the practice. You could get a sub 10 tonight, boy. I bet you
I
can do
found a
it.
BBC article about D.W. Lawrence. Here we go.
Who's that?
It's the dude who invented the split hook.
What does it look like, by the way? Does it look like a traditional, like, stereotypical hook hand, or is it, like, something weird? Because split implies that there's, like, two hooks, to me.
I'm having trouble finding a, like, clear photo of it. Like, here's one, but the actual hook is at the very bottom, like, going off the edge of the screen, and we're mostly seeing the dude. Here's a bunch of pictures of things that aren't a split hook.
Uh-huh.
Here's one that shows somebody using, I don't think that's a split hook, but it looks crazy. I'll just post this in the Twitch chat. Have that. I don't know what the fuck to call that, Tam. Post-World War I, new prosthetics allowed people to perform previously impossible tasks like welding or driving a car. Yeah, okay, that is what I thought it is, which is just an entire welding prosthetic.
Wait, what?
That's what I posted in the Twitch chat. It's a photo of someone with a prosthetic that is an entire welding prosthetic.
Entire...
At least that's what it appears to be.
Dude, that's amazing. Hey, it gets the job done, Sean. The you could take the hand off the welder, but you can't take the welder off the welder.
Yes.
It's amazing.
So I'm looking at a schematic for this twin hooks. For Metal Gear Solid twin hooks.
Uh-huh.
It does look like it's sort of like a traditional hook hand, except it's two hooks, and one of them is connected to a wire that goes up to like your shoulder joint, so that you've got like different. You can like maneuver them separately depending on how you move your arm.
So you get two thumbs.
Yeah,
that
basically.
are also claws.
Yeah. So it's meant to like allow you to like grip stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Let's see. It gives you the claw. That's great. I love that. Dude, old prosthetics are fucking wild when you start thinking about it, because, like, people have been losing limbs for the end of days, but that ain't gonna stop anyone from trying to figure out how to use their hands.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I love the prosthetic that Jackie has in Our Flag Means Death, though. I don't know why. There's just something very great about it. It's like upsetting, it's cool, it's silly, it's a lot of things. She's also very good. All the characters have been very good. I've enjoyed that show quite a bit. Ah!
And for the record, that prosthetic is like closer. Her prosthetic is like more historically common, I feel.
Right.
Based on what I'm reading.
Yeah, I was thinking about making that joke. It's like, there's a character in the show who, they even got a more historically accurate prosthetic for a pirate than the traditional pirate prosthetic.
Also, I won't say who, but somebody does get a peg leg in season 2. And
That's
I
fun.
love it because it's exactly the character I would have hoped would have gotten a peg leg.
I could guess, but I won't, and I hope it's him, but I won't say who. He is one of my favorite characters, though. I'm a big fan of Buttons, man. He's a simple boy. You can't tell if he's good, you can't tell if he's bad, but you can't help but love him.
Yeah, Buttons has some wild stuff.
They got a bird guy! Can't tell if he likes the captain, hates the captain, does want to be there, doesn't want to be there.
Mostly wants to eat people.
Mostly wants to eat people. He's great, man. I love him.
Yeah, Our Flag Means Death is a lot of fun. If anybody wants pirate hijinks with like an emotional core to it,
Yeah.
Our Flag Means Death is a treat.
Because again, Steed is very well acted and very well written to play to his historical exploits of somehow being like, this motherfucker thinks he can be a pirate, but also I genuinely think he's well written in a way that's like actually makes a point of what drives a man who lives comfortably to piracy.
Yes, exactly. It's like they do a great job of making it more than just, haha, isn't it funny that this dumb idiot is a dumb idiot? Like,
Right.
they do a great job of looking into what does it mean to choose to become a pirate when you had every reason not to.
Right. Don't worry about the noise I made. I got scared. Eh. I did it!
Nice,
oh
dude.
my god.
Alright.
Oh, I had to crack my wrist after that. It made an audible noise. I was getting what is that called when your joints are going bad? Arthritis. Is getting some arthritis in there.
Probably just tendonitis.
Probably just tinnitus. Oh wait, no, that's different.
Tinnitus.
Wow, I died a lot!
Oh
Holy
yeah.
shit.
That'd be that way.
I feel that.
Alright. You ready, Jackson? I bet
Yeah.
you could do sub 10. Or get close. I think you could
I
get
got
close.
really close. I stopped in this room when you beat the level, but I reached this room in 6 minutes.
Dude, I think you can do it, man.
So-
I believe in you. You got the Limburger.
I
You
got
got
the
the
Limburger.
Limburger.
And for reference, 2,100 death. So I've been paying my dues. Okay.
15
Let's see.
minutes. Let's shoot for that.
I think I already got 15 minutes. Am I crazy?
You said you
I
got
think I
15
got-
minutes. You got around 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah, I thought
think.
you got like 15, 20
It was-
or something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
1532. 1532.
Yeah.
So,
So-
sub 15, let's shoot for...
Let's do it. All
I
right.
think you can do 10, but I think you could also do sub 15, man. You got this. You got this. You got the muscle memory. You got the vibes.
Yep. Don't worry, that one doesn't count. It resets my time, so we're good.
Oh, that's neat, actually. I didn't know that.
Yep.
It's not a real run until it's past the first stage.
Yep.
Huh. Neat.
That is nice. I still think, if I was to ever get back into speedrunning, I still think Monster Hunter was the closest I ever got, and even then, I'm still just like... There got to a point even there that I was like, do I like speedrunning it this way necessarily? It actually got too repetitive for me. Like, it became
Speedrunning
such...
is super repetitive.
Right, like... It
It's like
just
the most
felt...
repetitive way you could possibly interact with a game.
Right. It just felt less of like... It felt for me, less of what I like out of any game or any, like, action-based game, and just felt like I just eventually got so proficient in doing the same thing over and over again that I got, like, I either would hit a wall, or I would just feel like I wasn't necessarily getting that same, like, reflexive rush anymore, because I could just respond pretty automatically to whatever's happening.
Right, it became mundane.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't know how I died there.
And that's not an insult. Like, if you have, I think I just don't have the tolerance for that kind of repetition. I
mean,
really
this is
don't.
what's great about Neon White, is that it gets you in the mindset of a speedrunner, but it bypasses the need to grind out, like, mechanical perfection, and instead puts the emphasis on, like, route forming.
Right. Which is dope.
Which is normally a thing that is done, like, by entire communities.
Right.
But in Neon White, they, like, distill it down so that you, as an individual, get to do it, like, on a level-by-level basis.
Right. Which is dope. Like, that is another thing that I've always heard about Neon White that is, you know, in its favor, is that if you've ever thought about speedrunning but were like, man, I don't got the patience, time, skill, whatever, it'll at least make you feel like a speedrunner.
Yes.
Which is cool. That is cool. Like,
We
I can't
are-
say I've played a game like that. Oh, what's up?
Oh, we are first checkpoint in at 2 minutes 19 seconds.
Dude, you got this. Bro, you got this. I believe
Sorry for cutting you guys off.
You're good.
in a thing called love. Want to think of a more creative bit than that, but I can't.
just, just fell right in.
No longer believe in love.
I've ceased to believe in love.
But yeah. And I would still say I liked that about Monster Hunter. I would still say when it comes to proficiencies, I'm probably what? At this point, I'd be really rusty at it, but to have to come back to it. But Monster Hunter, Ace Combat and/or piloting games, and Hunt, and that's about it for me.
You're really good at hunting.
Thank you. I've had to work on my self-esteem a lot.
I think the only games I've ever been good at in any meaningful sense are Dark Souls 3 and Assault Android Cactus.
Oh yeah, do you remember? Yeah.
Hey,
Assault
don't sell
Android
yourself
Cactus.
short. I love Battle Chef. You're really good at Battle Chef, at least compared to me.
I
Like-
had the advantage of it being like my 4th time through that game. You were
Right.
getting there.
It's a good game, though. And
Which I'm still down to have another duel for Thanksgiving.
oh, hell yeah. I'd be down for that as a bit. Who can make the best Thanksgiving dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Yeah, we can even make special rules, like, because you can set for just like random exhibitions, you can set what the requirements are, so we can make it like, all right, this is going to be a bow rune, or, you know, whatever we think we want for our Thanksgiving
Right.
centerpiece.
It's gotta be the chickens, right? For turkey. That's gotta be the centerpiece.
Yeah, that's fair. I think of chicken and turkey as being very different, but you're right that there is there is poultry that could be the centerpiece.
Right. And there isn't really a turkey unless you think a dragon is a turkey. I mean, unless you think a turkey is a dragon, and, I mean... Turkeys are actually kind of scary. They're fucking big, man. They the first time I actually saw a turkey, like a wild... I almost called it a buck. Turkey. I guess
Challenging.
rooster? Buck? I feel like
Yes,
buck is
rooster
better.
is correct.
I don't know, I feel like buck is better since they're game. But a wild male turkey, they're fucking huge, man. They're not small. They're dinosaurs.
Yeah, I mean, that's valid.
Like,
They're also too big to fly.
yep. I mean, they don't need to fly, my guy. They also can glide,
They
which is also
can't fly long
scary.
distances. They fly a little bit.
There's also, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a chicken that's like, I shit you not, 4 or 5 feet tall. It looks, it looks
That's a
ghastly.
chocobo.
Yeah, no, it looks like a chocobo. It's strange, man.
Whoa.
I don't know
You
what
told
they're
me.
here. Let me check what they're called. Giant chicken.
You've mentioned things that are my interests.
They're called Oshamo chickens. They can weigh about 12.5 pounds.
That's
Jeez. That's bigger than my house cat.
yeah, for a bird, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
For a chicken, that's fucking huge. I want height. Give me their height. How tall are they? Because they look like they're 4 or 5 feet tall. They don't look short. Like, a turkey is maybe 4 feet tall at their tallest. But, like, they're usually probably around 3 feet, which is still tall for a bird. Like, that's a big fucking bird. That's half my height.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Guard room conquered.
Dude, you got it. You're at 7 minutes.
Oh man. I don't know if I have the entire rest of the run in 3 minutes, but I will try.
Dude, you're making great time. You've got this, bro.
We are at the final checkpoint.
You got this, bro. I believe in you. You were past the hardest room in the game. Or the
Arguably,
hardest
yeah,
room
well-
of this one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely one of the harder rooms of the game, that's for sure.
Nice. That was a freebie. Ooh, God, that was rough. As in, that was a rough timing.
Yeah.
God, she has that perfectly timed. There you go.
There we go. Alright, now we do it again before we all.
Height.
Whoa.
Oh, around 30 inches tall. So yeah, a little under 3 feet tall, which is still pretty fucking tall for a chicken. They look gigantic, man. I saw, like, there's a video of them, and they just look... They are taller than children.
Yeah.
Short children. I'm pretty sure if I would have saw that as, like, a 4-year-old, I would have been staring at a velociraptor. I would have been like, this thing is going to kill me. Probably
it
could
would've.
have. Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
So close.
Oh man. I
Kirby
have to
says
plug-
he could take it. Listen, you say that now, but Australia literally lost a war to emus. If a bird is big enough, it'll kick your ass. A bird does not have to be that big to kick your ass, actually. I've had my ass kicked by plenty of birds. Parrots will kick your teeth in. For fun.
Parrots are feisty.
They are. And that's
Yeah,
not an
dude.
insult. If you own a parrot out there, I appreciate you because I could never own a parrot. And I've had positive experiences with birds. That's not to say that I haven't had a positive experience with a bird. I'm just not a bird person. But I am a bird person. That's different. I'm glad you found that funny. It's very stupid.
You are a bird person, but yeah, no, that's good.
I've thought about owning one bird in my life, and it was a sun conure, and I still was like, I couldn't. They're just a lot. They're a lot of maintenance. I think I could handle a dog as far as like the highest I say that right now, and I'm like, I'm having some difficulty even taking care of a chameleon, and chameleons are pretty fucking high maintenance, and I have a low maintenance, high maintenance chameleon. I got the closest thing that you can get to a chameleon being unkillable. So, if I'm having struggles with that, which I've come to learn recently, in fact, he's not dying, he's just ugly, which is fine. I'm okay with having it.
Dying, he's just ugly.
He's just ugly. Which I'm fine with having an ugly lizard. I just was worried that he was miserable. Well, he probably is still, but he's just ugly, so, you know.
Is he miserable because he's ugly, or?
Yeah, it's like
See, I don't know if he knows that. He needs to work on his self-esteem, honestly. Oh my god, that was
Nice.
slick as fuck. No! That would have been the
dang it.
run, man. That would have been so satisfying to get the ping pong into Dark Madeline.
Yeah.
Just do it again, man. That was
Yeah.
slick as fuck.
I actually thought it was what you were going for the run before that, because you like almost did it.
No, unfortunately,
Oh, that was
no.
so risky.
Curve says, I imagine he's not dying, he's just ugly, being the last thing you hear in a hospital bed.
Ah, shit. Followed by, ah, shit. Goddamn.
Tried to play that one safe just in case.
Dude, you've got it. You've got 2 more fucking sections, and you're at 12 minutes.
Oh no.
You're just rubbing that tummy.
Yep.
But yeah, I recently, to kind of explain the situation, I'd been hand feeding him for a while, which is fine. I like hand feeding a chameleon. It's fun. You get to see them use their cool tongue, whatever. It is time consuming though, but I had inherited, taken off of the edge. I just got a cage for a very good price that had a hole in it. And I originally tried to patch the hole until one day I found my idiot of a lizard trapped in the patchwork, and I was like, well, guess I can't patch that hole that way, so I can't really have crickets in there, because they'll just get out. And there was a while there where I moved him to someplace, and a friend of mine was like, I'm gonna help you figure out what the fuck is going on. I'm like, thank you! I'm starting to get stressed out about it. He looks miserable. He was like, have you been feeding him crickets? And I was like, no, there's a big hole in his fucking cage, man. He's like, that's probably part of your problem. I'm like, yeah, probably. So I was like worried, because he did fix the cage. He just found some better tape. I tried using duct tape, which I guess... I thought the whole point in duct tape is it's great for patchwork, but I guess I'm wrong. I mean, I guess it's technically for holding ducts together. Who uses it for that? Ductors?
Conductors?
Yeah, no, he just, like, taped the hole, and sure enough, I was worried. I was like, man, I've just made my... Oh, that was slick! Holy shit, that was awesome! That was tight as fuck, Jackson.
Jeez.
That was genuinely tight as fuck.
Gosh.
You got it. You got it. You got it. No!
Oh no, no.
Dude, you got this, though.
This is still gonna be a gold time, I think. As long as
but yeah.
I don't mess this up too much.
But yeah, no, he...
Any...
Nice! See?
14:39.
Woo! Well done.
Yeah, we're getting to the point where shaving minutes off is starting to get pretty hard. And granted, if I practiced a couple runes, it could help a lot, but oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a minute.
That was a minute, yeah.
And that was sub 15. You did it.
Woo!
Well, god damn. We're in a similar situation
Oh, the same
now.
pickle of
Yeah.
we don't really have enough time to We could goof around on some seasides, or I don't know, man.
I don't think I have seasides unlocked
Oh, I
yet.
don't think. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, we're.
I mean, we could always just start chapter 7.
That's true. Get as far as we can, because I can come back to it, right?
Yeah, you can do save and quit, and then it'll, as long as you don't quit the chapter, I believe you're fine. So, like, for example,
Gotcha.
if you do,
Or it could at least just be practice. That would be good too, probably.
yeah,
Give me back my hat.
Limburger.
Oh, but yeah, no, he just gave him crickets and sure. Wait, did I? Nope, I didn't do the right one. Shit, you can't skip that cutscene for some reason. He gave him crickets, and I just was worried that I had made my dumb lizard too stupid to hunt because I was feeding him by hand, and luckily he isn't as dumb as I thought he was. Thank God. I just thought I made him a moron, okay? Because I'm kind of a moron.
Pretty good.
Listen, my cat just tried to get into the bath with me. Like, I have this effect on the things around me, okay? He looked really funny, though. I was like, man, you don't realize how much your cat is fur until you see them wet. I was like, you are way scranglier than I thought you were, boy. I had a soggy kitty. It was.
We're gonna do some pull-ups.
But he's fine now. He's fine now. I wrapped him in a towel. He didn't even do that cat thing where they're like, oh no, no, no. He just was like, what has happened? He just seemed to be really confused. He was like, what happened? Why am I all wet?
How did I get all this water on me?
Like, he wasn't necessarily upset in a distressed way, but more like in a confused way.
Why has life done this to me?
Uh-huh. Oh, what happened? What happened? It was pretty cute, I won't lie. I'm curious. Well, actually, probably won't happen again. We'll see. I'll have to start closing the bathroom door now. Now that this is the last bath I'm taking in this place. I guess. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Man.
As I've probably said even last time, prepare, guys. There might be only one stream next week, depending on how next week goes.
Yeah, because you'll be gone all weekend, yeah. So.
And my new internet doesn't come in until my new / current internet. I'm just getting it switched over to this new place because it's still in town. Won't be until they won't come in until Monday. But my roommate has internet, so I don't know how good it is. So it might if I'm ever able to get my setup started, maybe. But I'm not banking on that. So. Also, this music is quite good. On an octopus? Dude, I could make an octopus dumb as shit, man. I could make it not understand how to use at least 3 of its arms. That would be hysterical. Dude, my superpower all along was making the things around me stupid. Making them lose brain cells.
I've experienced this for sure.
Uh-huh. All of my friends have. Arthur has remarked about it multiple times. How are you feeling, Jackson? Do you have like a defense mechanism?
Say again?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no, my bad. On our end, we got a dinner order canceled, so I was distracted for a second because
what?
We were ordering some dinner, and yeah, literally, like, they came back and they're like, we canceled
late-ass
this. It's
dinner.
like, yeah, yeah.
They just were like, sorry, doggies. What? Was it like the Uber fucked up, or the Uber? What the hell's wrong with me?
We're about to
Uber
find
Eats,
out.
that's a real thing.
Oh yeah, that's fair. I actually need a drink of water. Thank you, Hydrate Bot. Sweet lad. Hydrate Bot is kind of like if R2-D2 was in the shape, even more in the shape of a water bottle. I almost said that and had to think about the shape of R2-D2 as though if he isn't already in the shape of a water bottle.
A little bit.
It's R2-D2 with a little screw cap on top. That's it. And he's filled with water.
He's already kind of got a suit on.
Yeah.
He's got the little, like, circular thing
Right.
that I always think of as an eye, but is probably something
like-
else. Like a
Right.
sensor or something, probably.
It's kind of like a couple. He's got like a couple wacky cameras on top if you look at it.
Yeah.
One of them's like a camera eye,
Yeah.
at least. But yeah. So have you just been drinking the neon white juice, Sean?
Mostly. I did start the Fall of the House of Usher with Ren yesterday. We're enjoying that quite a bit.
Yeah. I definitely want to watch more of it. There was a moment there where I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, though. It almost was a little bit too fast-paced. Like, the pace was making it weird for me in a way that made me not know how to feel about it until probably the second half of the show. Of that first episode.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm enjoying it. It's not my favorite of Flanagan's work for sure, but I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
What are heads if not cameras? What you mean to say is what are eyes if not cameras, Kirby?
The Fall of the House of Usher does have the most gruesome death scene in any Mike Flanagan work.
Ooh. That's saying a lot, because I think I have seen some pretty gnarly ones, I feel like. I'm trying to think. What was one that I was like, ooh, because I definitely know there was at least one.
He's not normally big on, like, gruesome, like, gory stuff, but there's one or two.
Right.
No, there's one in the Fall of the House of Usher that's fucking wild, though. I won't spoil exactly what it is, but suffice it to say, a whole bunch of people get melted.
Oh. Did he use poison again? Hey. Mr. Flanagan, you can't just keep using rat poison and everything.
Wait, since when does rat poison melt people?
What else is it supposed to do to the rats, Sean? That's what happened to the rats when I dipped them in rat poison.
And you had to clean them up with a mop?
Yeah, yep. Oh. It made a big mess. Ah!
Whoa.
Launched myself a little bit there, yeah. When you accidentally launch yourself in this game, it's like a jump scare. Back to the
luck
bottom
next
I
time.
go. Yeah. I haven't watched Midnight Club. Well, I haven't watched literally any other Mike Flanagan than the Mike Flanagan that Sean has shown me. Okay, I'll say it right, Sean.
Heat is ice poison. What?
No,
I think that one needed to cook a little longer.
Come on now.
I think that ice needed to cook a little longer. Yeah, it is ice acid. That That is fair.
Now you think about it, now that I think about it, that rat poison bottle did say hydrochloric acid on it. I just assumed it was rat poison because it killed the rats. Oh, that's weird. When I decided to use, shit. Oh, that's weird. When I decided to use hairspray and a match to set the rat on fire, it didn't really occur to me that it didn't say rat poison on the hairspray. It said hairspray.
It probably did say poison, though, to be fair. You've identified the critical misunderstanding. Oh?
Ah!
Please, educate us.
I think what he
Because
means is...
if rat poison melts rats, then the heat melts, or ice. Heat is ice poison because it melts ice.
Right. Hydrochloric acid is just people poison. Guys, I just don't even understand why people keep on dying of rat poison. It kills rats. It doesn't say people poison on it.
Yeah, but how are you supposed to survive if all the rats that are turning the hamster wheels in your body are gone?
Thank you so much for that. That's the most creative reason why rat poison kills people. Jackson, you have any? Do you have any why rat poison kills people? No right answers. Answer. Sean kind of hit it on the nail on the head. So good luck.
I'm teeing you up for failure. Have fun. Also, he's, I think, getting food.
Oh, now that's fair.
So you teed yourself up for failure now.
I think it just poisons the one rat that is in everyone's head that has like two... No, it just poisons the one rat on everyone's head that controls them. Ratatouille style.
I see. Kirby's rats are smart enough to close their mouths when I take my daily rat poison. Yeah, that's true. That's called survival of the fittest. You don't want any weak-brained rats running your body.
This is a PSA to any of our easily influenced younger viewers. Do not drink rat poison. Don't do it, please. Please
Unless
do not.
You've got really strong rats.
Do not listen to Sean. The rats in your body are never strong enough. They will die, and so will you. I just have one. I do have one rat that controls me Ava style. He lives in my spine. Now I've just become a Titan. Even though I don't know anything about Titans, other than that is a thing in Titans.
Yeah, I haven't seen a season and a half of Attack on Titan, and from what I can tell, that's about the correct amount to watch.
I hear it's finished, though. I hear it ended, finally.
Oh, neat. I didn't know it was... I have no context, honestly, for how long it would have run.
Me either. I was pretty not super into the first episode, unfortunately. It just didn't land for me.
I liked the first season pretty well. It wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed it. It was novel enough, and it had some solid bits that I was like, I'm here for this.
Right.
But, you know, it did the thing that it gets shit on by literally everyone for, which is that the pacing slowed to an unbelievable crawl.
Right.
10 years? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Oh my god.
That can't be right.
I know Arthur actually reps it quite a bit, and one of my criticisms is I actually find its tone a little... It got a little tonal whiplash for me in the first episode. There was something about the way that
it's intentional, but I can see it being a problem for people.
Because, like, if it's supposed to be like this ultra dark setting, I think there's a point where it takes me out of it that I couldn't take it seriously. because one of the things that Arthur said about it that is what he likes about it is he likes how, like, oppressive the setting is, and I'm like, I don't know, it just seemed... it seemed over the top how oppressive it is. It took me out of it for how much it tries to be like, look at how awful this is, and I'm like, I feel like it lacks subtlety for that for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, because I've definitely seen the ethereal eye in plenty of things. So, and for me, Attack on Titan just, it got too goofy for it for me. Like, I couldn't take it seriously for how serious it wanted to be taken.
Yeah, that's valid.
And also, I did find a couple things that happened near the end of the episode kind of hard to be like... It just... Again, I like my kind... I like either horror to be like show don't tell, or don't show too much. Like, I just appreciate that. I think that's what I like in horror. Is
I don't
the
think
best
it's really
horror.
trying to be horror.
Right. Well, that's fair. That's also part of it is I couldn't tell if it was trying to be a horror or not, I guess.
It's just trying to be a dark fantasy.
That's fair.
I ended up
Guess
watching
you never
to about,
considered that.
yeah. I ended up watching to about
You can sign up Diablo.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jackson.
Oh yeah, I ended up watching to like season 3, part 1, and I want to say that I actually really enjoyed it the more time went on because season 1 had that, as we mentioned, the problem of slowing to like an absolute crawl. Season 2 had the similar problem, but it was only like half the episode, so like all the big punchlines and reveals, you know, happened at twice the speed because they held them off to the end, kind of like they did in season 1, but you know, only half the episodes. And then season 3, part 1, I think was even shorter, and it actually had several like plot developments happen in that season, so they actually packed much more plot into that. So I feel like the plot per capita got denser as the seasons went on, which is nice because it really could have used that from word 1.
Yeah, it definitely had fallen off by then, so it's good to hear that it sort of turned it around.
That said,
that's in my personal opinion, of course. Some may disagree.
Sure.
That said,
well,
I do.
Survey's saying that they enjoy the like way that the world building is handled as the show goes on. Because I think
Right.
that we're conflating a couple of different things when we're talking about the pacing. Because I don't have a problem with like slow-paced world building oriented stuff, but that did not feel like what I was getting out of Attack on Titan for the parts of it that I saw.
Yeah, it was just the like. I think I can remember a very discrete example of how slow the pacing in the show got. There was an episode where the female Titan is chasing Eren through a forest for a whole episode, and you spend like 22 minutes getting people being like, oh man, is Eren gonna be okay? I can't see into the forest. And then Mika says, being like, oh man, I wish I could be there to help Eren, but I hope he's gonna be okay. And then like Commander's just like, oh man, we gotta keep on running because she's killing our soldiers. And then you would have a section where she kills the soldiers, and then you have a section where you cut back to Armin and be like, oh, you know, I think I hear soldiers dying. I hope everything's going okay.
Jackson, you need to say you need to voice Armin in his Armin voice. By that I mean the Armin voice that they used for the abridged series, because I love his voice.
Yeah. Well, I just really hope that Aaron's will come here. I know
that is spot on. That is perfect.
Thank you.
What is it? I'm the one that has to control the canisters, and I gotta control everything. Tink tink. So good. I actually kind of love how whiny they make him.
It's very, very good.
And also, I do owe it to myself to watch the dub specifically because Ashley Birch plays Mikasa. And I know I will like Mikasa, and Ashley Birch is the perfect casting for Mikasa.
Also, another reason you should play Horizon Zero Dawn, because she's the main character in that too.
Oh, I did not know that she was Alloy. I did not know that. That's awesome. Goddamn. Ashley Birch, national treasure. I hope the Birches are doing well. I haven't heard from them in a while.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they're up to these days. I mean, Ashley is still busy with voice acting.
Right.
And I'm sure that Anthony is doing something somewhere.
I'm very, very out of touch with them, but I remember, and if it's even fun to talk about, feel free to fill me in, but because I remember, like, all good things happening to Ashley, but then there was, like, something rough that happened with Anthony, like,
There was some controversy with Anthony, and then there was, like, some weirdly, unfortunately public stuff with, like, his marriage that felt like it really shouldn't have been as public as it was. Really, like, much sympathy for him for that situation, regardless of what actually happened, because having all that shit public could not have been fun.
Right. Fun / good, like... TMZ sucks. Like, and I say that not because of the actual, the actual TMZ,
Sure.
but
I
like
get what
the
you
concept, right? People have the private lives, damn it. Now this is a befuddling little section. I don't know how to make that jump.
Speaking as somebody who's literally never played this, I think at the end, instead of trying to dash to the one right above you, try to dash straight up to the one on the right.
Think?
I think so. I would say that I'll show you what I mean, but it's so fast. Yeah, up and to the right here.
Oh, I see what you mean. What's rough is you kind of have to do the same jump, so it feels implied that I need to learn that jump on the first jump without using one. But I can't tell. But either way, glad Ash is doing at least well, because she is a phenomenal voice actress, and she's just a great person. I love Ash. She's great.
Yeah, she's cool. Cool person.
And again, I can't think of a better person to voice the character who the only context I have for them is so many shit posts. I can't think of anyone better than Ashley Birch to voice somebody whose most of their notoriety comes from the shit posts about them.
I mean, yeah, she's a complete gremlin.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Life is Strange, Isaac?
No, not yet. I know I need
other big
to.
voice acting role. She's one of the main characters in that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
I know
that's
she's
a big, like, we could talk about, like, Horizon Zero Dawn, like, debatable whether the story is really what you're there for, but
right.
Life is Strange, like, she's one of the main characters in a really well-written, character-heavy, like, story-based game. And she does a great job.
That's great. Yeah, no, and that's great. That doesn't surprise me. She's a great voice actress.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Ren took me through. I think. Well, of course you were hanging around as well, but I'm really glad you guys took me through Life is Strange, because I think that was like one of the weeks I ended up spending at you guys' place. Just a really good time.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't think about that game very often anymore, but it was like one of the first games to really nail player choice in a narrative-driven game for me.
Damn.
Because it came out around the same time as, like, Walking Dead, and it's part of that sort of era of games where the illusion of choice was, like, a super hot-button issue where designers were convinced that it was just the way, and gamers
Right.
were starting to get pissy about it, myself included. I'm still pissy about it.
Right.
And
That's why I was
Life
gonna
is
play
Strange is one of the
Tokimeki
games-
Memorial.
Life is Strange is one of the games that was like hot on the heels of all that. That was like, no, this is how you like give players choices in a narrative and have them matter.
Right. It's good.
Which, you know, not perfect on that front or anything, but compared to The Walking Dead, it was a huge step up.
That's saying that's saying a lot, but I also know the, you know, almost notoriety that it garnered that, you know, it didn't really matter, and I'm still just like, well, if it did, it didn't. It was still a well-written story. I liked The Walking Dead quite a bit.
Yeah, I am sort of mixed on The Walking Dead, because I really did, like, I have been staunchly opposed to the idea of basing huge things on the illusion of choice. It's obviously a very useful tool, but like, it is not nearly as opaque as some designers at the time thought it was. And
Right.
like, The Walking Dead is a perfect example of like, there are very blatant choices in that game that it will just overrule you.
Yes.
Like, unambiguously, you will make a choice and the game will say, no, that was the wrong choice, the other thing's happening anyway.
Right. And it doesn't. And there are even points where they're like, well, it didn't actually matter what choice you made because we wrote in a resolution regardless of your actual choice. And it's like,
Right.
eh.
And it's fair, like, the big thing that makes it work in The Walking Dead is that, like, ultimately, it's not about the choices. Like, that game is a narrative-focused game, and it's about relationships and dialogue, and, you know, to their credit, the dialogue does change. Like, even if you make a choice that gets overruled by the plot, the dialogue later will reflect the choice you made, even if the plot didn't.
Right.
And, like, the characters are well written. Like,
Yeah.
it's well written. But, like,
That's great.
I really found it extremely annoying when the game was just like, no, fuck that choice you made.
Yep. It also feels like it unfortunately comes also off as like not even like necessarily like developer laziness, but being like, ah shit, we don't know how to. It makes it too complicated almost, is what I would say. Like they were like, oh
Yeah, well,
shit.
that's the thing is, like, you can't build up to a big,
Right.
impactful choice if you're not willing to put that choice in the player's hands. It's fine to make a game like Oxenfree, where, like, all of the choices you make are almost all, like, inconsequential, fleeting things that just affect the flow of the conversation. That's great. But, like, do that.
Right.
But if you're gonna build your game around the idea that you're making these huge, you know,
Right.
impactful choices, you've got to actually do that.
Right. I was gonna say my other favorite example of like that as a like almost like as a choices are actually inconsequential and just mean something more for what the player chose and not for the outcome. Nier, I think, actually does Nier Gestalt and Replicant actually do a great job at what's that, Jackson?
Oh, I realized I was talking to Savannah, my bad.
Oh, you're
My
good. They do a great job of being like, you can make a choice and it's more of the context that matters, not the result.
Yeah, that's a very common thing of like, we're gonna give you a choice in like a side quest that is just going to affect, you know, some dialogue at the end of the side quest, and the point is not necessarily that it's gonna have far-reaching consequences, just that it's gonna make you think about the situation. I'm totally down with that kind of thing. A really, maybe a little too far in that direction example of that I personally enjoyed was in Dragon Quest Inquisition, a game that I don't particularly love, but it has a lot of great things in it. But it's got this like war room where you can go because the whole thing with Dragon Age Inquisition is that you're leading this, like, sort of supranational force that's, like, trying to build up to have the, like, resources to do something. It's sort of like Mass Effect 3 in that sense, but...
Right.
But the idea is you've got this war room where you can send your agents, your, like, main people in your group, to go do stuff in different parts of the world. And depending on who you send, they'll interact with the situation in different ways.
Okay,
And so
that's interesting.
it's just like asking you to make a bunch of entirely text-driven choices about, like, you know, which of my advisors do I want to send off to this place? Like, whose approach do I want to take here? Do I need this advisor somewhere else, or can I afford to send them on this? And, like, none of it matters.
Right.
But, like, it's exactly that thing of, like, it's about just, like, getting you to think about the consequences and weigh the choices, or think about the context and weigh the choices,
Right.
even though ultimately it doesn't really matter. And I think it maybe goes a little too far in that direction, and it could have used having a little bit more going on there than as minimal as it actually was, but I still think it's, like, an interesting example of that, and one that I personally dived into way deeper than I should have.
Right. Well, I mean, like you said, it's an interesting idea, and that's why, like, even choice in games is fascinating. I feel like it is a hot button debate because people now
Or it
know
was 5
that
years ago.
Yeah, you're right. Because part of the issue is, like, that was, like, cutting edge at one point. Like, it wasn't necessarily impossible, but it certainly was hard enough that a lot of games just were like, this is too complicated or too hard, or just plain a lot of effort for usually what would be, like, you know, half of what we want it to be, or too complicated to actually get it to work the way that we would want it to get. So, and most of the time, anything that would try for it would be super simple or super over-ambitious. So, it is becoming more of a regular, or not maybe a regular thing, but certainly a regularly attempted thing.
Yeah, it's something that games are getting a lot better about how they handle, and are really making an effort to engage with it consistently.
Right.
I think my favorite examples are, and to Kirby, I think this is what Kirby's point was, Dragon Age Origins is, to this day, one of the best examples of player choice in a game I've ever seen.
Well,
I wish I enjoyed the gameplay
Even
of that
Witcher
game.
3?
I said one of.
Oh, okay. I know Witcher 3 is, like, I don't remember if it's specifically you, but, like, I know that is on a lot of people's lists of incredible for character player choice, like...
Yeah, Witcher 3, Dragon Age Origins, and I want to say there's another one that I'm forgetting.
Mass Effect in there? I always feel like Mass Effect also gets kind of a bad rap on that sometimes. It's like 50-50 when it comes to Mass Effect for how actually effective it is.
I'm not in love with the player choice aspect of the Mass Effect games specifically. And I think this is one of the reasons why my opinion of those games diverges so much from the popular opinion, is that I like a lot of things about those games, but I don't think, as much as player choice was like a thing a lot of people fixated on in those games, I don't think the player choice was ever like phenomenal in them. There are things here and there, like whether Kaiden or Ashley survives is actually a really big deal that gets totally glossed over in the sequels. But, like, you know, in the first game, it's really impactful which of them survives.
Right.
And, like, it does a thing that Witcher 3 would later sort of improve on, where, like, it asks you to make tough choices during quests that, like, force you to really think about the context of those individual moments. But I don't think it was ever the type of game where, like, far-reaching consequences for, like, major game-breaking choices. It was just, like, a lot of... I mean, sort of what we were talking about earlier, where it's, like, a lot of context-sensitive stuff for you to think about, like, how to weigh this versus that, and the, like, ethical implications. Stuff like the Geth, or not the Geth. Yeah, the
Genophage, or the Geth, yeah.
The whole thing with, like, well, this might be a part you didn't play.
Oh no, I think I know what you're talking about with the space station.
You have to, like, to decide if you're going to essentially brainwash the Geth or not.
Right.
And it's, like, interesting. It doesn't end up mattering in the plot at all, but it's, like, an interesting thing to think about, and that's something Mass Effect is really good about.
Right.
But yeah, the whole, like, controversy with Mass Effect 3 was, one, the 3 endings thing, which I never really cared about, and two, the idea that people felt like the series had been building up to this thing where all of your choices in the first 2 games would have this huge impact on the way the 3rd game played out, and I don't know if that was like a marketing thing or something, but I don't know how anyone thought that was ever going to be possible.
It's funny because
not a thing.
I feel like they kind of got themselves into a bit of a, like, into a rut with that on accident, because, like, the whole issue there is, like, they immediately made a marketing call to be like, the last game will affect the next game, and, like,
I mean, it did.
It
wasn't, like, completely... It didn't completely change the course of the whole game, but, like, there's stuff in there that really meaningfully changes. I don't think it's all handled super well. In particular, I think that the way that they handle character deaths is kind of lame. Which is that, at least for the meaningful character death that I got, the character was just completely replaced with the fucking... fucking shit, what's that game called? That, like, tactics game that we talk about sometimes. Tom Clancy game.
Oh, Ghost Recon?
Ghost Recon.
Yeah.
He's basically replaced with a Ghost Recon, nameless recruit.
Oh, that sucks.
Who does the same shit, and it's like, it's especially bad because, like, his whole thing is that, like, no one else can do what I do. Like, I have to be part of this because no one else could do this. Right. And then if he dies, it's just like, well, we found somebody else, some random stranger who can actually just do it anyway.
Yeah, that sucks. And instead of, you know, something interesting like how do you cope with the fact that you lost somebody who's not only an asset, but a person.
Yes. So, I found that pretty lame. Like,
what happened? You lost an asset in a person?
No, we're talking about...
A character died in Mass Effect 2.
Oh, gotcha.
Who, in Mass Effect 3, they were just like, here's a replacement for him. And I just thought it was lame.
Oh, gotcha.
Instead of, you know, maybe having an arc about trying to think like, okay, how do we deal with any given character death, or even the ultimately bad thing that can still happen and succeed in Mass Effect 2, which is your entire crew dies. How do you deal with that?
Like, that's the problem. That's the problem with the idea that there was ever going to be. Oh, thank you for the raid.
Hey, Funzy. Welcome. We're talking about Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. But that's the problem with the idea that there was ever going to be, like, sweeping changes in one game based on the previous one, is like, Mass Effect 2 had the worst possible ending for setting up a sequel. It's a great ending to a standalone game. I love the suicide mission. But, like, there's no writing a sequel around the suicide mission. It's not possible.
Right. It's a pretty climactic ending.
It's pretty climactic, but also anyone can die in that mission. And
Right.
you cannot write a story where you can't depend on literally anyone to be alive or dead.
Right.
Right, yeah.
Not without some real fucking... Maybe they even ran into that. They're like, well, shit, how do we write it? And that's probably why they just had to come up with a solution of, well, I guess we just have to find people to replace them. And it's like, maybe then you make it a writing thing about like, okay, so you have to replace the cast of everyone with somebody new. Maybe make it about that, like how this person isn't that person and what makes them interesting and not interesting, and have Shepard deal with that, you know?
And I won't say it's impossible, but it's a
Right.
Herculean task that I don't think there was ever a chance of Mass Effect 3 really engaging with that, and I didn't ever expect it to. I was
Right.
disappointed with how they handled the guy I cared about who died in my game, but ultimately Mass Effect 3 is still my favorite game in that series for reasons that have nothing to do with player choice.
Maybe listen, this is an offer.
Nothing to do with narrative player choice.
I've thought about it multiple times. I think we should just do a playthrough of the Mass Effect games so I can finally play through 3, because I've never played through 3 just because I've just never had an opportunity to. I won't even say it's because I was biased. I remembered it getting, you know, we've mentioned this before, it got like bad video game press, and it's like, kinda, but I would like to make my own opinion at this point, because I liked 1 and 2 a lot. Like, a lot. They were 2 of my favorite games. I loved 1, and I loved 2.
You'll probably like 3 then. Like,
Yeah.
I have died on this hill many times over the years, but the controversy over Mass Effect 3 was stupid and not
Yes.
deserved.
That is the
And, like,
impression I get.
I totally get why people were upset, and I can even agree with like some of the points about certain things about the way that things in Mass Effect 3 were handled were not great. But it's like, if literally all you care about is the ending, then sure, Mass Effect 3 is a travesty, a horrible game. But if literally any other second of the game matters to you, then why aren't you talking about any of that? Because it was phenomenal.
Right. Oh, so we're doing good. How was your stream? I hope you're doing well. We're just in a discussion. We're in a discussion.
We're watching Isaac beat his head against some of the hardest levels in Celeste, so that...
Vibing. I do not know how to do this room. It's driving me crazy.
The way that you described, the way that you were like, we're having a discussion, sounds like parents that are arguing, that are trying to explain to their kid that trying to
fine, go back to bed, sweetheart.
yeah.
Okay. How do I do this fucking room? I've been beating my goddamn head against this wall for like the last 20 minutes. Jackson, I would like to buy a vowel. It's a joke I'm making.
Yeah.
What critical thing am I missing here for this room?
Well,
I might actually have you show me.
Did you just say skill, Sean?
How
So far,
fucking
all right.
dare you.
So you go. So from here, you can pause the game and just so Madeline doesn't. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You would dash right.
You can do that. That's a cool feature.
Yeah.
So you can dash right, and then dash. Let it ride out a little bit, and then dash up left and left.
God, I was going straight up. That's why. Kept on going straight up. I didn't know
Yeah,
up left would mean anything.
It's pretty tight as well because of it's pretty tight because of like those spikes.
Right.
That's always the way it is with this game, though, where it's like, yeah, I go up and then left. Like, I don't get it. Why doesn't it work? And then it's like, oh, well, you just wait like half a second longer and then go diagonal. And it's like, oh, obviously.
Damn it!
Yeah,
I tried something there where I did a dash jump after it. That kind of helped give me a little bit up too.
It seemed like it helped actually. Yeah, like I think that is a good thing.
except it'll jump me straight to the spike sometimes if I'm not fast enough.
Yeah. Gotta get that quick draw fingers.
But yeah, I do need to play The Witcher.
Fingers.
I need to play The Witcher 3. I need to play.
Witcher 3's so good, dude.
So many 3 games I need to play. I need to play Mass Effect 3.
We already played Super Mario 3, so we're clear on that.
That's true. I finally made it! What?
No, no.
I got it, and I was like, what do I do?
Hit any button.
Where's the any key?
Where is it? I can't find it. How do you dial 911? That was like one of my favorite Ed, Edd n Eddy jokes. What's the number for 911? I think is what she says.
There's a good IT crowd joke about the number for 911 changing, and it's this like unbelievably long nightmare that has like its own jingle that Moss has to like sing along to so that he can remember the number while the fucking office is on fire.
That's great. I do need to watch the IT crowd again. I think I would like it more now. I don't listen. I had a period of my life where I guess I just didn't want to have fun. I don't know how to explain that. I had a portion of my life where I was experiencing a lot of media that wasn't fun but very good. So I thought, well, the only good media isn't fun.
I mean, I love me some media that's not fun.
Right.
But, you know, there's room for both.
Yeah. I had to mature a little bit more because I found a lot of good media that was a wild mixture of not fun or at least could be taken quite seriously or self-seriously.
You played Song of Saya like 3 or 4 times.
I played Song of Saya and watched the end of Evangelion and did my genocide route in the span of like 2 years of my life, which were very bad periods of my life. They didn't help. And I love
some of those things.
Yeah, I was like, I love some of those things for what they are. It's like, I feel like I can't say I love any of those 3 things because I love things about 2 of those things that are still, I shouldn't say I love that thing though.
You don't love genocide?
No, I don't love what happens in a lot of things that happen in the end of Evangelion, and it's still one of my favorite inspirational pieces of media. But I can't say I love it.
I was about to say, I don't know if I'm allowed to describe that film on Twitch. We might get in trouble.
You're not allowed to describe the first scene of that fucking movie on Twitch. And I think that movie still has one of my favorite inspirational speeches in anything I've ever seen.
It's a good film. It's extremely rough to watch.
Yeah.
And it has some serious flaws, but it's good on the whole.
It still has one of my favorite monologues in any piece of media I've ever seen, so that's it has one of my favorite monologues that I've taken as at best a personal effort to try to be like, that's a good life lesson.
Tell it. Say it. Recite it, please.
It's the one where Misato straight up tells Shinji, "So fucking what if I'm not you?" Like that speech. That genuinely is one of my favorite speeches from anything I've ever heard. It's a very good speech about trying to deal with your problems. God damn it, Sean! Why you gotta do this to me? Why? Why can't I just like that speech? God damn it!
Question.
Is that right before she says?
It is! You fucker!
Is that right before she says there's more when you get back?
It is.
Damn it, you all suck! She's fucking dying! She's trying to get him to do something!
Look, I get it, sort of.
I get it,
but I get it, sort of.
I also get she does an awful thing, but she's literally dying! What do you want from me?
That movie is about people doing awful things that you like. Or that people that you like doing awful things.
Whoa, man.
Sorry, my words were in the wrong order.
That was massively Freudian.
Freud is so happy right now.
Freud is
Freud
rolling
The opposite of rolling in his grave.
Freud can
Dancing
suck
in
my
his
dick.
Kirby can recite Ansem's speech from Kingdom Hearts 1, which he's never played.
I mean, he does have a really good speech. I've at least heard it. I don't remember what it is, but I have heard it. God damn
I
it!
remember
I feel
liking the first Kingdom Hearts. It's a good game.
I should give it a shot. I get it. I would
I mean,
probably.
by all means, if you haven't played it by now, you don't have to feel the need to get into Kingdom Hearts, my guy.
Yeah, but I know there's a part of me that child me would have actually liked it. Like, a part of me that child me saw that and was like, huh, this might be good. This seems interesting. Because I was a Disney kid. I wasn't a Final Fantasy kid, but I was a Disney kid. Not a very good Disney kid, but I was a Disney kid.
Kingdom Hearts 1 was fine because I feel like Nomura was still on a leash at that point. They hadn't let him
Push
fly
back
off.
a little bit. I don't like Nomura's work or the work that he's associated with, but it's not like he's the only person responsible for creative decisions on games he's involved with,
Right.
and Square as a whole has done a lot of questionable shit ever since it merged with Enix. Like,
Yeah.
they have been on questionable decisions for their entire past 20 years.
Questionable Decision Street is what I like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's agreed basically. Yeah, there's I don't know. Well, the crazy part is that Kingdom Hearts 1 actually was Kingdom Hearts 1. That was Squaresoft still, wasn't it?
It was borderline if it wasn't. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts was 2002, developed by Square. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it's exactly when the merger happened, because their last two games before the merger were Kingdom Hearts 1 and Final Fantasy X.
Right.
And then after the merger, it's like, we forgot how to make a game right.
Well, there's a reason for that happening, and I think I've talked about it a bunch of stream because it's something I'm very passionate about. And I'm angry about as well. Is there's this common misconception of something I used to believe that that SquareSoft was failing from the Spirits Within movie, so they had to merge with Enix to survive. But it's only half true. It was SquareSoft took a large hit from the Spirits Within movie. They wanted to merge with Enix because they just wanted to merge with Enix. And Enix said, no, man, your financials are bad right now because of that movie. Go do better before we'll merge with you. So they made Final Fantasy X, and they made Kingdom Hearts 1, and they're like, and Enix was like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we're good now. So I'm so angry at the fact that it's like, they were doing so good, like, they didn't need Enix. And on top of that, they moved to Enix's headquarters and kept predominantly Enix employees. Like, I want to say it was basically an 80-20 split of, like, Enix employees to Square employees.
And that begs the question of what was Enix known for? Because I always get the impression that
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
there's the rub. I always was like, I always actually got the impression that, you know, Square actually was a very like
Internationally, they were bigger.
Yeah.
Nationally,
That's always been the thing, right? Is like Dragon Quest is huge in Japan and Final Fantasy is huge overseas.
right.
yeah.
So that merger has always sounded weird to me because it seems like creative-wise, at least again from somebody who knew nothing about even what Enix did. But now that I know they did Dragon Quest, I was like, oh, okay, no, my assertion is not true at all. That like somehow Square was the creative brilliance, when in reality I know Dragon Quest has a lot of good creative energy behind it and also is incredibly popular and well known and good. It's good. I know it's good.
Also, Kirby posted that speech. Jackson,
Yeah.
you want to take a crack at it?
Yeah, do you wanna give us your best answer, Jackson?
so long since Kingdom Hearts 1. I want to take a sip.
Just think about what Ansem sounds like based on his fucked up face. It's not really fucked up. He's very pretty.
I was gonna say
actually.
he's fucked up when he's Xehanort, but he looks fine as Kingdom Hearts 1 Ansem.
Ah! God damn it! So close.
If I remember which one is what correctly.
Listen, 2 is when they really got stupid with the names.
Yeah, but that's dependent on me remembering what model is from which game.
Right.
Sorry. I was in the middle of a slice of pizza.
Wow. Say, what did you order, by the way, that they were just like, nah, we're good.
So
Nah,
what
never
happened was-
mind.
They mixed up like the digits of the number. They tried to call Savannah's phone, which is a Maryland number because that's what the state that she's from.
Right.
They mixed it up. You got an actual Marylander, so they're like, "Hey, we're approaching with your pizza," and they're like, "What do you mean approaching with our pizza?"
They got mad? Why would you get mad about that? Array,
Yeah.
wouldn't you be excited? I'd be like, fuck, a pizza?
Surprise
There's a
pizza?
on the way?
Yeah. And,
Were they actually? There's probably no way to
they
know
were
if they were.
actually mad. Apparently, it was like
I mean, you're probably just like, what pizza?
and plus, like it's later there, like it's almost midnight at Eastern time, so like
Sure.
so when they were getting the call at like 11 p.m. to say, "Hey, your pizza is arriving" or something like that. Yeah, so yeah, the store told us that their pizza driver was actually cussed out by the person over the phone,
Oh my
and
God.
we had to try to explain that it wasn't us. That
I mean, good on them for reaching out to you about that. That's
we reached
wild.
out to them.
Oh, I see.
When our order was canceled, we reached out to the pizza shop to be like, "Hey, what's going on? We would like pizza."
Yeah.
And that's when they explained. They're like, "Oh, well, we called the number and they swore us out and said we live in Maryland. You know, don't call this number. Blah blah blah." And we're like, "Well, we don't live in Maryland.
We live in Texas.
We live in Texas, and we've ordered from you many times." And they're like, "Well, the records do show that. Yeah, it does show you've ordered from us a lot."
I mean,
So-
I kind of feel for them in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
That was fucked up of whoever accidentally got the wrong number. I get that. Hey, telemarketers, or more just like
Well,
the
that's the
spam
thing, like,
calls, are
hold
getting
on,
annoying.
no.
But
I'm not giving them an inch on this. Like, if you don't want to accept a call because it's late at night, turn off your fucking phone.
or just don't. Just be like, who the fuck is this? Like, I don't know who this is. Just don't answer. That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of whether you answer or not, like, it's on you if you don't want to get a call
Yeah.
at fucking nighttime. That's in your hands to control.
Yeah, don't pick up the phone just to yell at somebody about the fact that you picked up the phone at late at night.
It's so weird. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's... Oof. Oof.
People are fucking wild, man.
Yeah. I don't... I've gotten better, but I still don't necessarily understand the people. Bizarre, man. Ah! Also, gonna try to see how
Yeah.
far I get in here, and we'll probably call it here. This is a good scouting mission. I think I'll get it next time, and I know technically I could just save and pick up where I leave off, but I feel it a good personal challenge to see if I could do these in one sitting, because you still can do them in one sitting. Unless this one is
Yeah.
particularly long.
I did look at my time. I was full of crap. My chapter 7 is quite long. Chapter 7 B-side is like, my best time is like an hour and 40 minutes right now.
Oh.
So next stream, I'll be in the background, seeing if I can get that to a reasonable time to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
We might be in homework territory for Jackson.
Maybe.
You can sub 10 it. I believe. I
think it is very, very long. I don't know if that's sub-tenable. Like, I don't even know if it is sub-tenable.
Or it probably is. You just have to be
find out.
An inhuman robot computer man.
Well, TAS, sure, my bad. TAS, I'm sure can, but RT, like real-time attempt, I don't know.
Where do you draw the line at a tool-assisted speedrun for a game? Because it, like, I feel like a lot of
individual level speedrun, the Summit B-side in 6:53.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That is nuts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's
really
a hell
cool.
of a run.
As far as what tool assisted means, or
Well, I know what it means. I mean, where do you usually draw the line? Because, like, I feel like it has become more accessible as emulators have become more of like a core feature of even consoles like the Nintendo's emulation for the Switch. Like, they just build in, you know, save states and stuff like that, which
Yes.
save states are effectively just doing TASs after a certain point.
Right.
So-
That's called splicing a run, and
Right.
I guess technically not. It is tool assisted in that. It is not a genuine. I am playing this level from start to finish with, you know, like
But
if
it's
you're.
not what people mean when they talk about tool-assisted runs.
Right.
I would say,
Tool-assisted means a very specific thing usually.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're talking about save states and like just trying to edit together like all the best cuts of your saves, like if you know, save state and then you load your state and you die 50 times and then you load your state and you do it successfully, like
Right.
and then you just edit that all together, I would just call that like a run splice, which is still against.
It's very cool. Like, as long as you're transparent about it, it's honestly a great way to showcase what's theoretically possible, even if you haven't like put it all together. Because a tool-assisted speedrun is not necessarily theoretically possible.
Right.
Right, because you can
Just because the game can do it doesn't mean a human being can do it.
right, because you can set the inputs on every single frame. Literally, you can be like, on frame 1, hold down these buttons, on frame 2, hold down these buttons, so on and so forth, for, you know, the next 5,000 frames.
Right. Now, to kind of distill that a little bit more into what I was actually meaning is, like, the access to that kind of tooling has become more common. So would you say there is a bit of a philosophical debate on whether or not you have legitimately, like, properly beaten a game if you, dependent on how heavily you've used that kind of system to just even casually beat a game? Cause
Like if you use save states to beat a game?
Right. Like,
I don't think anybody really cares. I mean, if
right.
you're sort of merging a lot of different conversations and mixing up the context, but I gather you're not talking about speedruns anymore.
No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't think anybody gives a fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like I remember the Ninja Gaiden was really, for the Nintendo, was really, really, really hard. Ninja Gaiden 1 through 3. I could not do it without save states. So that's how I did it. Now, granted, I turned it into a challenge run, because I was like, well, if I'm gonna cheat, I mean, you know, depends on how you define cheat, but in that case, you know, if I'm gonna quote-unquote cheat, I'm at least going to try to still keep it exciting. So I tried to turn it into a no damage run, where I didn't get hit for the entirety of the you know, start to finish.
See, that's where it's like, there's an interesting thing about like the more like liquid debate of whether or not like using those kind of tools to like at least take out the bullshit in a lot of older games, but at the same time it's like, when you start abusing it, well, are you technically even playing the game anymore? Like, what even...
It's just a personal preference thing.
Right.
There's definitely room for confusion in, like, conversations if you're not clear about the context in which you played the game and the way in which you played it, but
right.
in terms of the actual experience, it's just a matter of personal preference.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I think back then, because I want to say I did this in like 2011 or something like that. I spent the whole semester doing it because I was on campus for like 3 hours, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and so that was just my time when I was ramming my head into Ninja Gaiden on an emulator. I never said to anybody, "Oh yeah, dude, I just straight up beat Ninja Gaiden, like no hit." Like, now I would always just say, like I beat Ninja Gaiden with save states or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
because there's nothing wrong with me omitting that fact, like, because I can say truthfully I have beaten Ninja Gaiden, like I've seen the ending, I know the story, so on and so forth. But I choose not to admit it because I just don't want to paint a picture of like, because if someone turns around,
and especially for a game like Ninja Gaiden that has this reputation, like, it comes across misleading if you say that you've beaten it, because that is
Right.
a brag. Like, to say that you've beaten Ninja Gaiden is a brag.
yeah,
So, you know, the context of I didn't just beat a raw, like, straight NES cartridge of Ninja Gaiden, like, yeah, changes the way that like, what that means. for the game
Right.
like that.
That's kind of how I feel about that, I guess. Which is why I kind of brought this topic up in more of like a philosophical sense. It's like, it really does apply more to older games, because newer games have, you know, there's been a lot of effort in game design to make it so that way if you have to save state your game, that's kind of to even make it beatable by a casual or even...
I mean, you say that, but this is the same conversation that we have about difficulty in Dark Souls every fucking month.
Oh no, I didn't know this was a repeating thing. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not saying you and I have this conversation. I'm saying, like, game-playing communities in general.
Gotcha.
Like, this is just the difficulty in Dark Souls conversation of, like, what options should a game give you for, you know, beating it if you're not up to the task.
Right. And some people aren't. And also there's nothing really wrong with that. Like, even another example, it's like, fucking Hunt, I know, is a fantastically designed shooter and a fantastically designed tactical shooter. It's fucking hard though. Like, I put 750 hours into it and I feel like I'm at a place that I'm like, I'm maybe above average. Like, that's a lot of time to sink in and invest, and like, it's still not necessarily, it wants to be more, you know, newer player friendly, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is. And there's nothing wrong with that either, like, just more of the nature of the beast.
yeah.
But
Like,
like,
if you're all facing players that have been playing for like 1,000 hours, like a new
Right.
player walks onto the scene, that's a whole. Funnily enough, that is yet another conversation
right.
about communities aging themselves out, because at some point you can end up if you have a community that's small enough that's still alive, that ends up becoming like very new player unfriendly, just because all the people that are still playing are very, very good and will
Right.
just crush anybody who tries to join.
And I will actually say, it might even be a good, like, talking point on this, is Hunt is very interesting to analyze for that, because you can tell that the developers very much are trying to, like, fight that, but still try to keep, like, that hardcore thing that makes it appeal to so many people to begin with. And it's a really interesting, like, dilemma that they're running into, that, you know, we want to still, like, make it clear that, like, new players can and should enjoy this game, because it is a process of going from somebody who's, you know, not very skilled and thus more like, you know, quite literal prey, but actually developing into the predator of the game. Like, that's an interesting, like, almost like self-player narrative that the game is trying to teach the player. But that also means you have to try to find a way to get the player to buy into that, and that still is only on a player-by-player basis. Like, you can't make every new player buy into that if they just really aren't having a good time when they first start. So,
Hi, it's me.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Hi.
did you ever?
Hi, it's you and Arthur. Well, James and I are like, we really just want a third with one of our friends because we know that this game is very good and a fantastic shooter.
It's just hard, like,
Right.
multiplayer games in general are hard when they're like such skill-based things because there's going to be discrepancies like between people in a match and also between people in a friend group. Like, I can't jump into Hunt because I don't enjoy playing it solo, and playing it with you and James, it's like I'm just sort of following orders, which is like
Right.
not your guys' fault. You're just playing the game, and that
Right.
like for you guys like involves strategizing and planning routes and deciding on where to go, and I just can't contribute to that because I haven't done it yet.
Right.
It's not anybody's fault. It's just that, like, as a new player, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna run around and every 10 minutes or so, I'll shoot at something and probably die. Which is not the game. It's just the
Right.
experience for a new player.
Yeah.
And
Hilarious.
that's
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
all I was gonna say is I do find it interesting, at least the efforts that they're trying to resolve those issues, and it is at least like nice to know that a developer is willing to see those as like palpable issues, because yeah, maybe it does. They are doing their best to not alienate themselves from their, you know, oldest players, but arguably that's still ultimately impossible to do when you're trying to do that. But on the flip side, there's a very real problem of, well, you need new players though if you want to keep it alive for that. Like, new players are still important to
appeal
have.
to your core audience who make up the
Exactly.
like most important support, but also appeal to new players who are the most important lifeblood of the game.
Exactly. And I will give them credit. The two best ways they've done doing that is putting a lot of effort in their like community work, like getting very solid content creators to try to actually support and represent the game in a way that makes it be like, yeah, no, you can look like this, but we all started from nothing, and they really do preach that. There's not like a sense, I've never gotten a sense of elitism from the biggest Hunt players. Like, they're very supportive, they try to encourage people. One of the best ones literally tries to make as many tutorials as possible for new players, like, to get into it. And then on top of that, they've just tried to make they've continued to try to make it less hardcore overall and more accessible any way that they can without necessarily sacrificing too much or as little of that core that they established so long ago. So it is a fascinating thing. Like, I think it is an interesting thing because most multiplayer games are just either try to make it as casual as possible, or in some cases just say, screw the new player. I don't like the games in that latter one, by the way. Those ones kind of suck, and I won't say which one I'm talking about.
Okay. You don't have to say its name.
Yep, we all know which one it is.
Yeah, Hawken, yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
I love that
Hawken was
game. I
on
wish
there.
it didn't die.
Yeah,
Well,
I wish it didn't die, and the player base killed it.
and the player base did kind of kill it at the end. Like, that was a game that where I first learned about aging out. Well, as an aside, isn't Hawkins supposed to come back to life? I feel like it was right.
They tried, and
It's
it
like
died
a field
again.
that's not Hawken, right? Like, it's
Right.
Hawken in name only.
Gotcha, because I felt like they were riding on the coattails of Armored Core, because it was like, hey man, here's
Yeah.
here's the mech renaissance, and they're like, we're back too.
Yup.
Yeah.
I feel like it came out, and then it had like no fanfare, like at all. It was like,
Yeah, I never saw anybody talking about it. I mean, it's been such a tough year. Like, there's so much this year. This has been one of the most hacked video game years in ages. So, like,
right.
any indie or AA game that isn't, like, groundbreaking is not gonna get attention right now.
Right. Because a lot of those have been coming out.
Like, sorry, but we've got fucking Armored Core 6 and Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom and Resident Evil 4 and Starfield.
Cyberpunk
And
DLC. And...
Yep. So fucking much this year.
Yeah.
Like, it's been...
Elden
Elden Ring was at the beginning of this year? I keep forgetting about that.
No, that was the end of
I,
last year.
Oh, it was last year? Never mind. God, I hate that. God, I hate that.
We felt like this year because I think what happened was I want to say it came out mid last year, and I promised Sean that I'd buy him Elden Ring when he finished the series, and he did. And so I bought it for him, and then after that...
Okay. For a second there, I was like, and you're going to buy him Elden Ring now, right?
Yeah. And then for Christmas, Savannah got me Elden Ring, and so I played it for the first half of this year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I guess I did play it last year. God, it doesn't feel like it. Feels sooner than that. I kind of hate that a lot. Hate that a lot, actually. Jesus.
Welcome to the passage of time. We're all mortal boys.
Boy, that was my favorite Oppenheimer quote. We're all mortals. We're all mortals now.
that was just an Oppenheimer.
Ooh.
He was the really, really depressed one on the team. He's just like, man, we can't do it.
Are you saying that? Are you trying to imply that any of them probably weren't incredibly depressed doing the things that they were doing?
I meant like pessimistic, like man.
Are you saying that any of them weren't incredibly pessimistic on the thing they were doing? Sean, input?
I don't know, man.
They were just making a funny bomb, guys.
Well, maybe one of them was just like, I want to kill him.
Yeah, and it was Oppenheimer.
I haven't seen the film, so I can't comment on the contemporary cultural touchstone.
Of the atomic bomb. What's that?
That's gotta be available on streaming and home video by now, right?
It's probably a VHS via.
Probably. It was straight. It was straight to video, don't you know?
Direct to home theater.
Interesting.
What would you nominate as a direct-to-home theater Christopher Nolan film?
I mean, it's gotta be Tenet, right?
Haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know.
Exactly.
I think by the fact that I haven't seen it, I have to vote yes.
See? Jackson gets it.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan that... Oh, jeez.
Maybe The Prestige?
Oh, yeah, that was him? He was...
Yeah.
I saw that forever ago. I didn't know that was a Nolan movie.
It's a solid film, but I feel like it kind of flew under the radar.
That's the one with the... That's the one with the... That is also the one with Christian Bale, right? I mean, because
Yeah.
I know that Christian Bale did...
It's such a...
Well, because, like...
You know how little that narrows it down?
Well, because Nolan did two sets of movies with Christian Bale, which is The Dark Knight and then, I guess, The Prestige, so...
I just...
I'm just making sure that this was, like, the movie I was thinking of was...
Unlike that
Yeah, I
other
think it's also
Christopher
got
Nolan...
Scarlett Johansson, right?
Yeah.
What's
Do you
that?
know how little that narrows... Isn't Scarlett Johansson in The Dark Knight as well?
No.
I don't think so.
I was just saying, Jackson, isn't Scarlett Johansson also in The Prestige? Isn't she the, like, wife or whatever?
Oh, is she? I mean, it's been so long ago. I think so.
I'm not positive.
But yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was a good movie. It was...
Saying that... saying in a vacuum, isn't that the movie with Christopher Nolan... Or by Christopher Nolan with Christian Bale is like... You mean Batman? To be fair, I guess I didn't know he hadn't... when I think about it, I guess that's the only thing that I know of. I can't think of anything else that Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan have been in that I guess Prestige, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah, because he's used Leonardo DiCaprio a little bit. He's used Matt Damon more than once.
I don't feel like a lot of directors have like certain actors that they go to repeatedly, but Christopher Nolan really doesn't.
At this point, the most repeated actor is probably Matt Damon. If only because he's
other than Interstellar, what is the other Nolan film he's in?
He was also in Oppenheimer.
Oh, is he in Oppenheimer? Okay.
Yeah.
Is he the titular Oppenheimer?
No, that was the dude's name I can't remember.
Christian Bale.
It started with like it was like Syrian something or I can't remember.
Cillian Murphy.
What's up?
Cillian Murphy.
Maybe.
Because he is also in Buttman.
What man?
Buttman. Because he was Mr. Scarecrow, right?
Mr. Crow himself.
Oh yeah, Mr. Crow.
I had to put a picture of their faces side by side in my brain to be like, yeah, that's him, isn't it? Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, let me look up that cast.
I think it's actually pronounced Killian. I've never
heard
on that.
Yeah, I think it is Killian, you're right. It's like spelled with a C though.
Yeah. It's Killian, like cake.
Yeah. Wait, like cake? With a K?
Cake has a C in it.
Like
I spell cake K-A-K-E.
Oh, cake!
You know,
I heard kick, like kick a soccer ball.
I did hear kick too. I was like, kick?
I thought.
And then when you said C, I was like, oh yeah, that part. Wait, how does that spell Killian?
Yeah, I heard C as in kick. I was like, alright.
There is a C in kick, so.
You got funny jokes.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I just have an accent and I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I mean, we should call. I'm like, I think I can make it to this last one, and I'll call it here. I swear.
I mean, this is like around our normal stopping time. I'm not complaining. I'm just apparently mispronouncing words.
Nah, you're good.
Oh god, I almost had it.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy, yeah. And he was also, yeah, okay. Yeah, you were right on the money. He was also Scarecrow.
Like I said, I had to just picture their faces because I will admit the branding for Oppenheimer was really good. I know Oppenheimer's face. He lives in my head now.
Yeah.
He lives in my head now alongside with Hannibal Lecter. Kind of have a very similar, like, I don't know, something about their gaze seems, the gaze of those two characters, that they have a very, like, distant look to them that they captured in a lot of, in both movies. And, you know, a lot of the like media, man, I just see that face. I see that face.
In my restless dreams, I see that face. Silent Hill.
So here's the cast of Oppenheimer is fascinating because they've got some of the more like ones that stand out to me are Cillian Murphy, who it's cool to do a Scarecrow and now comes back to be the eponymous Oppenheimer.
What a great alliteration you found.
Eponymous Op.
Robert Downey Jr.'s in this movie. Matt Damon comes back for another appearance on a. So I think they're both 2 for 2. I can't remember if Matt Damon has any others. They might both be like in 2 movies of his. And then the other one that really stood out to me is Josh Peck from fame of Drake and Josh.
Okay.
Yeah, Josh Peck is in Oppenheimer.
Josh.
Now, was he Drake or was he Josh?
He was Josh.
James, actually, weirdly.
Well, I guess his name in the movie is Kenneth, but that's just really underwhelming. So
You didn't answer the question, Jack, but I appreciate the effort.
he was the Josh of between the Drake and the Josh in the movie of the Drake of the Oppenheimer.
I gotta die 42 more times, guys. I think I did the math right. Yeah, I gotta die 42 more times. That's my limit. I can only die. I've now made an impossible task where I now have to beat this entire. I have to do this whole thing because I was like, I'll just do it from the beginning, and now I've quit out of it. In 42 lives, and that might not be possible for me.
I'm
alone. I won't get the funny number, guys.
You'll never make it.
Maybe I have some homework.
What, your homework is to die 42 times?
42 times.
You fucking idiot.
Is that Lisa, or is that one of the fucking priests yelling at me?
It's Tiffany.
Tiffany? Thank you, Tiffany.
I would love to become good enough this game. Minus chapter 9 because screwed up chapter 9. Go through all of 1A through 8C and die no more than 69 times. Like, and if I die less than 69 times, just go back for the extra deaths. Like, go back and just like fall in a hole a couple times. That way all of the deaths across the screens could say 69.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
Is there a page that shows that?
Choice.
Your total deaths?
Mm-hmm. There is. If he goes out one,
Yeah.
and you press LT.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is total deaths for any.
7,000.
Wait, how have I died 45 times on Farewell? Am I stupid?
You did a little bit of farewell. We went into chapter 9 for a few minutes.
Oh,
remember?
right, that's chapter 9. For a second there, I thot that was the literal last chapter of the main story. It was like, how the fuck did I die there 45 times?
That's not a small number to die.
No, yeah, that is that's chapter 9.
7,000 dead Madeleines somewhere on the mountain.
It's the reason why the
One
mountain's
fell
so
off
tall,
and bumped
man.
her.
Thank you, Jackson. It did sound like a children's rhyme to me, and I'm glad that you picked that up.
I'm actually a little surprised that for C-sides, I have seemingly almost died. I have died more, or on B-sides. Sorry, yeah. I've died on B-sides more on Celestial Resort than any other one, which is kind of funny to me.
I think that was true for me as well. Celestial Resort just kills you, man. Just murders you.
The summit's gonna get there, though.
Oh, the summit. Oh, yeah.
Wait, how does it say that it's taken me... Is that 5 hours of game time in that? Yes, that makes more sense.
Yeah, it did take me a long time in the summit, didn't it?
Yeah. Across chapter, or across the A side and the B side, you spend 5 hours. I think if you go to the next page, it breaks down.
There we go.
Well, I guess in that specific case, it tells you like what's your fastest time through the summit A side.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what the fuck is full clear?
Is where you collect every like collectible, like all the strawberries and everything.
In one go.
Gotcha.
In one go, yeah.
Oh, I could almost get 69 for Old Site and 69 for Forsaken City.
Well, that's record fewest. Oh yeah, you're right. Because you could just go back and get some more deaths. Yeah.
Holy shit! A lot. There's a lot.
7 billion death.
Say the whole number, Sean.
Oh, shit.
7,323,939,651 deaths.
Man, Oppenheimer, you gotta bump your numbers up. That ain't. I'm going down.
That's almost the whole planet, my guy.
That's terrifying.
Right, that's true. Yeah, that's we don't want to bomb that big.
No, we don't. No, we don't. All right. I guess one more thing. Jackson, you never read Kirby's comment in your best anthem. You had an excuse. You better not shove another piece of pizza in your mouth.
Don't worry, I have no more pizza I can shove in me.
I genuinely forgot that we never circled back to that.
Let's see. So I remember that Kingdom Hearts Anthem was voiced by Richard Epcar. All right, well here we go. It's not gonna sound like him, but I'll try to. Don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is. His heart belongs again to darkness. All worlds begin in darkness, and all so end. The heart is no different. Darkness sprouts in it. It grows, consumes it. Such is its nature. In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came. For you see, darkness is the heart's true essence.
Shit, I wasn't fast enough. I was gonna take your guy because it says shake hand menacingly. I was gonna shake you at the very end. That's funny. That's not how I remember it going. It was more like this. Don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is. Your heart belongs again to darkness. All worlds begin in darkness and also end. The heart is no different. Darkness sprouts in it. It grows, consumes it. Such is its nature. In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came. For, you see, darkness is the heart's true essence. There, that was...
I think what you mean to say is homie, don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is.
Don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is.
Man, don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is.
I didn't know you had such a good meat wad.
Thank you. I keep that one deep in my back pocket.
Deep inside of me. Alright, I'm
glad it's good enough that you can recognize it right away.
Absolutely. I remember trying to give that show another, rewatch, and I was kind of underwhelmed, actually, by the first episode, but I know it's pretty good. I should go back and give it another shot. I should give it the 3-episode treatment, at least. It's a good show. I remembered it being a good show.
I was so conflicted on it. I liked exactly, half of the characters in that show.
Master Shake is obnoxious.
Yeah, I could not stand Master Shake. Frylock was good. Meatwad was pleasant.
Carl was... Meatwad's great. Carl's pretty good, too.
Carl... I struggled with Carl.
I mean, I like it because of the joke of, here's these 3 stupidly cartoonish idiots, and then just a guy.
Just a guy, a regular guy.
Yeah. It's a pretty good joke, actually. Alright, I'm ending the goddamn stream so Sean can put himself to bed.
I have work in 8 hours.
Yep, that's true.
Thanks for joining, everybody. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed the show. If you're able to join the live show, thank you for stopping by and chatting. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for taking the time to go back and rewatching the VOD. We appreciate it. If you're out there and you enjoyed this and you want to see more of what we're up to, I recommend scrolling down below and following, or clicking any of the links, or clicking this link, because I thought earlier maybe this is a better place to put it. You can also check out the link tree. That'll show you everywhere that we post, as well as anything else that I'm up to and that we're up to, so go check it out there. Also stick around to the very end. We usually do a closing bit and a raid, so you guys can keep watching things. The vampires in our chat, I know you're out there, I appreciate you. But Also, a shout out to our community. You guys are a wonderful audience and a great group of individuals, and we appreciate you. If we do anything particularly entertaining or noteworthy, feel free to clip it and share it on the internet. Just make sure to also hashtag it with MCCanary or link it back to the stream so people can find more of the good stuff we do here. That's not the button I meant to push. And as always,
no.
a huge thank you to everyone who supports the stream and all of our subscribers. Your generosity allows us to continue to expand the stream as well as take on more projects, and the stream would not be made possible without viewers like you. So we thank you. If you want to see your name added to this list, as well as a couple other benefits you could get, you could always subscribe directly on Twitch or check out the Patreon page. That'll show you everything that you can get, and any amount is always appreciated. Once again, thank you. And thank you to Ramad who do a wonderful job holding back the Robot Army and preventing you becoming famous. Thank you, Sean and Jackson, for playing more Celeste with me. I had a great time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're getting down to it.
Yeah. I'm having a great time with you, and thank you for pushing me to try to get more PBs. It's always cool. I love how much it gamifies. Sorry, this is a topic that I'm bringing up in the last second, but I just love how much it Celeste, I'm drunk. Celeste gamifies trying to improve. That's all I was trying to say.
Dude, you gotta play Neon White then.
Mm-hmm.
That's
think,
that whole
yeah.
game.
Unfortunately, it's a shooter, but it looks like a really fun shooter.
It's kind of a shooter.
Right.
More of
Yeah.
a first-person platformer, which, when I say it out loud, sounds shitty, but...
Mirror's Edge was good. I mean,
No.
Mirror's Edge was a first-person platformer. That was
Yeah.
dope as hell.
Exactly.
And I enjoyed Super Hot, though that was not a platformer, but it was technically a first-person shooter, but it was like so much more.
Mm-hmm. It's like a
The shooter
first-person
elements of
puzzle
Neon White are
game.
so minimal. I'll put it this way. I always play FPS on mouse and keyboard, but I've played Neon White exclusively with controller.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Granted, I do feel like I probably should be playing with mouse and keyboard.
Well,
Mainly because the specific section I'm in right now involves a lot of rocket jumping, and rocket jumping on controller is just not nearly as satisfying and is a little bit harder to do.
Yeah. Well,
Just not the same if you can't just flick your nose down and shoot your feet.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, who would like to start housekeeping for Goblin Entertainment?
We might be doing Dungeon of Voice Acting will pass on tomorrow. So we might be doing maybe Parasite Eve if Arthur's available.
Yeah.
That was, I think that's my whole thing is yeah.
If you enjoyed the stream and you want to support me and the things that I do and the shit that I have to say sounds interesting to you, check out Talking Skull on YouTube. I got a whole bunch of videos about all kind of bullshit, including the video about this game, and also a new video about Faith that just came out yesterday. So if you're interested in avant-garde horror games, check that out.
Yeah. And also check out the rest of our friends, Virtual Boys, Corvus Cryptid, Crowcast TV, and Boo XBs. Virtual Boys is James and Arthur. They were streaming on Tuesdays playing co-op games or multiplayer games. Corvus Cryptid is Ren's Twitch channel. They've got a cute VTuber avatar and usually play cozy games or spooky games. Wow, it's weirdly laggy. I was like, did I spell it wrong? It didn't pop up. Crowcast TV is...
drunk.
Yeah, a little bit. Drinking again. Crowcast TV is Tara's channel. She's a fantastic artist who usually streams live art on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And Boo XB's is Aqua's channel. She usually does horror games or multiplayer games. So go check everybody out. It's a good time in the network. I think that's about it. Stick around. We're actually heading to another channel that's also hosting Jackbox for another channel that Misa is playing with somebody named Bancha VT, who's a VTuber, and a bunch of other people. They're doing Jackbox games, so we should head over there. That sounds like a good time. So stick around for that. Otherwise, have a good evening, everybody. Take it easy. Jackson, is there anything you'd like to tell the audience?
Yeah, I mean, I already told them everything with that speech. Just listen to the darkness in your heart and just give into it. Just let go.
John, is there anything you'd like to tell Mr. Killian?
Gillian, I never gave you a good, honest shot. I should watch more of your films and see what you got going on. Because I don't think I have seen almost any of them.
You didn't like him as a scarecrow?
I liked our scary friend. I don't think I've seen him in literally any other movie.
Maybe he is just Christopher Nolan in disguise.
But like a really good disguise.
Like a really good disguise.
Like a face-off level disguise.
And guys, don't let your cat get soggy.
Cat.
It's funny and
Is
it's
this the
great.
right time for me to throw in the wet pussy joke that we've been holding back on?
Oh, well, you've
That's
got
really
7
the-
seconds.
No, that was it.
That was
okay.
that was a stronger thing from Sean than